Hey, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome back inside the Macon Centreplex for tonight's contest between the Macon Mayhem and the visiting Birmingham Bulls. I'm Alex Von Coda, the voice of your Macon Mayhem, and I'm happy to have you with us for tonight's tilt. Well, this is the 10th game of the season for the Mayhem. The campaign is now truly in full swing, and the team really has yet to get the ball rolling. They've not been able to string together a pair of wins yet. With the early schedule they've faced doing them no favors whatsoever. They dropped 4 straight at the hands of the Peoria Rivermen in back-to-back weekends, and were edged last night by the Knoxville Ice Bears by a 4-3 final score. The score doesn't tell the whole story. It was a fairly sound 40 minutes of play from the Mayhem. It was really just the opening period that was the issue. In the first 20 minutes, the Ice Bears found the net 4 times, which tied a franchise record for 4 goals allowed by the Mayhem in one period. Still, they showed great resolve. They chipped away at the deficit one by one until they eventually ran out of time at the end of the third period. But doubtless, the team again proved that it does not give up on games, and we'll see if they can carry what they did into tonight's tilt against Birmingham. The Bulls are a well-rested team. This is a similar situation to the one the Mayhem faced 3 weeks ago, coming off the back of a 1-goal defeat on a Friday night home tilt to host a Birmingham squad which had Friday off. Last weekend, they were defeated in back-to-back decisions by the Pensacola Ice Flyers in a home-and-home series. But the President's Cup runners-up are determined to gain some ground in the standings, ground they've lost by being idle and by falling just short in a few games. They're now facing a Mayhem team also hungry for points. They have fallen to 2-5-2. And it's been a shaky start here in Macon. The good news for the Mayhem is Birmingham is a team they played very well against in their one outing against them this season. 3 weeks ago, they defeated the Bulls by a 4-1 margin. The Bulls enter this building as the only remaining SPHL team to have not allowed a power play goal on the road yet this season. Through 3 games played, they are 10 for 10 on road penalty kills. While Macon's power play did look quite sharp last night, this will be another tough test for them. The last 3 teams they've faced have all been in the top 3 in the league in terms of penalty kill percentage. They've not, again, had the luck of the draw in several areas in terms of their schedule, but that is no excuse. The team has got to really come out and compete a full 60 minutes tonight. Looking at our 3 keys of tonight's game, number 1, dialing in. Yesterday, the Mayhem caught flat-footed, especially in the opening period, as we discussed. Number 2, closing the gaps on point shots. That's going to be critical against a couple of very adept blue liners in particular. Matt Fuller leads the league in goals by a defenseman with 4. He scored last Saturday night against Pensacola, as did Karel Jahorid. So the Mayhem have got to close the gaps on point shots. They've got to also protect the crease and keep it clear, as Kevin Etma had far too many rebound opportunities to deal with in his crease. The Mayhem not really giving him enough help from time to time last night. We're going to get to our Who's Hot and Players to Watch in a moment, but first an interview with the Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael that we did moments ago. That's coming your way next in the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Folks, keep it right here. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming and on YouTube. Okay, welcome back, folks, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming and on YouTube. We're so glad to have you with us here for our pregame show. I have the privilege of being joined by Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael. Coach, really appreciate your time. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
So, Coach, I wanted to ask you about yesterday. It was sort of the opposite of what happened last Saturday, where, instead of a great start and a slow finish, it was more of a slow start and a strong finish. How are you guys trying to sort of find that middle ground, I guess?
Well, I think, like you said, it was a bit of an opposite of last weekend, but I think the message is still the same. It's all about, playing 60 minutes and not having mental lapses, whether that's the first period or the third, and I think that's kind of what the Achilles heel is right now. It's not complete effort for 20 minutes 3 times, so I think that's just the focus going forward, just being mentally sharp and ready to go from the bat and continuing that throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. The mental element is always half the battle, if not more than that. And, Coach, one of the things that was a really exciting moment, I would say, yesterday was when Stefan Timofeyev, he scored his first goal with the organization, got another one, just 29 seconds into the second period. He's really starting to make a name for himself here in Macon. Stood up for himself last weekend against a much larger opponent in Erik Levine. What sort of potential do you see him having as a player?
Well, he's undersized, but he's quick, he's agile. sees the game well, great puck skills, great stick skills. I think he's kind of starting to shoot the puck more. We've been on him a little bit in practice that, I think he tries to make the pass first too much, and the benefit, I think, of him getting the message yesterday was him being able to put some goals in the net. So hopefully he continues to do that, because he's a guy that can, in any given night can make one or two spectacular, skillful plays for us.
Well, scoring goals can be kind of addicting, so now that he's done it a couple of times, maybe he'll start shooting more and passing a little bit less, like you guys are hoping. His fellow Russian, Oleg Kalaman, I've noticed he's been getting a lot more time on the power play in particular. And I thought the man advantage past couple games has actually looked pretty sharp. The result hasn't been reflective, I don't think, of what the team's been able to do and move the puck on the power play. Do you see Oleg as being a potential power play quarterback for this team going forward, or is it just sort of more of an experimental thing here in the early going?
No, I definitely see it. You can tell he played in a higher league back home in Russia. He makes hard, flat passes, and they're accurate pretty much all the time, and that's, it's pretty crucial for being on the power play. Usually sucking the top guy to you and making that good initial pass is what I think is setting up a lot of our chances on the man advantage, like you mentioned, the last few games. So hopefully, he can kind of continue to build off it and refine it, and we can start getting some more in the net here.
Yeah, and Mike, as a fellow defenseman yourself, or a former defenseman yourself, I wanted to ask you about the blue line right now. After losing Nick Minerva to the ECHL, losing Rennie Hunter, the team's really short on a right-handed defenseman at the moment. Last night, I think there were a few occasions in which a player playing on his offhanded point maybe struggled a little bit keeping the puck alive at the blue line, because he had to keep shifting to his backhand to keep the play going. It's a side they're not usually accustomed to playing, because the team's got right now has got so many sort of an excess of left-handed defensemen. As a fellow defenseman, do you think it really makes a substantial difference what side of the ice you play, or is there just kind of a small hump that it doesn't take much to get over it?
I think it's in between. It's not small and it's not substantial. It's just, I think the best word, it's a little awkward. Everything, that comes naturally and usually is easier, especially whether it's dump-ins and breakouts or keeping the puck in at the point, like you said. It's so much easier when you're on your right side, right. And kind of not having to rely on your backhand under pressure, especially late in the period when pucks are bouncing. But we kind of worked on some of that during pregame. Some of the left ED just going to the other point, and me putting pucks along the wall just to try to make it as comfortable as possible. It's obviously not ideal, but it's just something we got to make it work for now.
Did either of those what sort of, I guess, possessed your decision to put Cupper on that side and Ben Campbell on that side? Had they played previously in college or anything like that, or were they just more comfortable over there?
I think the two of them felt the most comfortable being over there, and they're both kind of smaller, mobile guys, so I think it's easier for them to do it than some of our bigger players. So I think that was kind of the decision to go that way.
That makes sense. All right, Coach, I'm going to ask you one last question. I'll let you get right back at it. We're in a similar situation now to the one we were in a few weeks ago, where Birmingham comes into this building having had last night off, just like they did 3 weeks ago. The team came off a 1-goal loss, just like they did a few weeks ago. The team that didn't play last night like them, they might be a little bit rusty. They might have some bust legs. How did you take advantage of that situation 3 weeks ago and come away with a 4-1 win?
Well, I reviewed a bit of that tape from 3 weeks ago, and we were just all over the puck. We were hounding pucks all over the ice. We were first to battles, winning races. I don't think we let them get into the game for the most part, and that was kind of the message, during film, this afternoon, going over kind of the mistakes from last night, reviewing kind of their tendencies, and then going back to what we did so well 3 weeks ago against these guys, and hopefully, the stars aligned a little bit, a lot from 3 weeks ago to tonight, and we can kind of replicate that and get a win.
Absolutely. It's one that's long overdue. There's just too much talent on this team for it to not happen soon. We can just see the good things starting to happen. It's just a matter of having it all come together and the stars aligning, as Coach Michael just put it. Coach, again, appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and good luck out there tonight.
Thanks, Alex.
That's Ryan Michael, assistant coach for your Macon Mayhem. This has been your pregame show. We'll be back in just a moment. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Well, we hope you enjoyed that interview, our first interview of the season with the Mayhem assistant coach, Ryan Michael. Always a pleasure to catch up with Mike's former Mayhem defenseman, one of the top Mayhem defensemen of all time. Some argue the best ever on the blue line for the Mayhem. He won the President's Cup here a few years ago, back in 2017. And due to his hockey savvy and his hockey IQ, he earned an assistant coaching position last season to assist Leo Thomas, who's now in his second campaign behind the Macon bench, searching for his 30th win as the Mayhem head coach tonight, squaring off against a well-rested Birmingham squad. Like we said in the interview with Coach Michael, a very similar situation. It's remarkable. 3 weeks ago, the Bulls had Friday night off. They came here on Saturday. The Mayhem did not have Friday off. They lost by 1 on Friday night 3 weeks ago. They lost by 1 on Friday night last night. So Coach Michael put it as the stars aligning. That was the Mayhem's probably their best game of the season. They won 4-1 against Birmingham back on the 26th. They're hoping that they can repeat that effort tonight. As Coach Michael put it, the Mayhem were just simply all over pucks. They would hound the puck ferociously and not give up on forechecks. They would not give up on loose pucks. He said during film earlier this afternoon that the team won probably 90% of the battles, the races, loose puck scraps, things of that nature during that game, and that was the difference of why they were able to string together a full 60-minute tilt and come away with a 4-1 victory. As promised, here are some of the players who are hot tonight for the Mayhem folks. Stepping into this game, Stefan Timofeyev. He had his first 2 goals of the season last night, one of which launched the Whitey Tighty Toss, which benefited a local charity. Daybreak Project DePaul received over 1,200 garments for the cold weather months coming up here in Macon, cold by Macon standards at least. Scarves, socks, gloves, underwear, things of that sort. So it was for a great cause. What a first goal to score with the Macon Mayhem for Stefan Timofeyev. And it was no coincidence that just 29 seconds into the second period, he netted his second one. 2 goals last night for the Russian rookie, Stefan Timofeyev. He is one of the players who is hot tonight for the Mayhem. Number 2, Stephen Pirog. He had a pair of assists in the Mayhem's last game against Birmingham. He also leads the team with 8 on the campaign. He has been a playmaking machine. He had a really good opportunity to get his first goal of the season last night, but was stoned cold by the Cornell product, Hayden Stewart, who had a pretty sharp outing for Jeff Carr and the Knoxville Ice Bears yesterday. Jeff Carr and company, by the way, tonight up in Huntsville, Alabama. We'll get to the rest of your out-of-town scoreboard update shortly. And finally, Jarrett Cupp, his first goal against the Birmingham Bulls came this season. He had an assist last night as well. Jarrett Cupp, our third who's hot for the Macon Mayhem. Looking at a few players to watch from Birmingham's side of things tonight. Cannon Piper, he had the lone goal against the Mayhem back on October 26th. Josh Harris, always a threat, regardless of who he's playing, really. He's been one of the SPHL's top players for the past few seasons. He leads the entire league with 11 assists on the campaign. Look out for number 24 in white tonight, folks. He will be centering Birmingham's top line and is always a looming threat anytime he's on the ice. He's essentially Birmingham's version of Stephen Pirog, just the team captain, a leader on and off the ice, a veteran who sees the ice extremely well and has set up his teammates with aplomb. 11 assists for Josh Harris, 8 for Stephen Pirog, both of them having all of their points coming in the assist category. So that just tells you what type of players and teammates that they are. And finally, Matt Fuller. He's an alternate captain for Jamie Hicks and company. He is also a returning blue liner who scored a goal last Saturday against Pensacola. And he leads all SPHL defensemen with 4 goals on the season. He actually leads the entire Birmingham squad in goals, which is extremely rare for a defenseman. So Matt Fuller, number 7 in white, another player worth watching tonight for the Birmingham Bulls. Taking a look at the officiating crew, which is being booed as we speak. Jason Lordy will be tonight's referee. He will be aided by linesman William Bray and Daniel Fendius. Jason Lordy was here last night. He called a really good game, I thought. Penalties were fairly even at 4 apiece. Actually, exactly even at 4 apiece. Both teams converted once on the power play, and you got to tip your cap to the Mayhem power play, striking against a Knoxville penalty kill, which is always at or near the top of the SPHL, at least in recent years. The Mayhem actually knocked them down a peg, so tonight they're facing the number 2 penalty kill in the Birmingham Bulls. coming into this game. Birmingham's PK, like we said, second in the league, 91.2%. On the road, they've been perfect. They're 10 for 10 on the PK through 3 road games this season. They do not quit on pucks either, and we'll see if a Mayhem power play that looked pretty sharp yesterday can finally break the spell and score a PPG against Birmingham. They're the only remaining SPHL team to have not allowed a power play goal on the road yet. The Birmingham starting lineups that I've been given are as follows. Art Bray gets the nod to start in between the pipes. Bray coming into this game with all 7 of Birmingham's games played. He has a record of 3-2-2, a goals against average of 2.35, and a save percentage of .938. Alex Johnson, Mike Krokock on defense, Josh Harris, Mike Davis, Jacob Barber up front. Macon countering with Larry Smith on defense, who is going to be flanked by Ben Campbell on his right tonight. Campbell, described by Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael, as somebody who's pretty shifty, good with the puck, and can slide over to his off point to aid with the shortage of right-handed defensemen that the Mayhem are facing right now. And the veteran centerman Josh Kuzno will center the starting line for tonight's game, with Daniel Perez flanking him on his left side. Danny Perez has been outstanding since joining the Mayhem. He's been a point-per-game player, 3 goals, 4 assists, 5 penalty minutes, and Danny Caesar, who really has started to pick up steam of late. Number 22 in blue will be on the right flank to start tonight's game. Back-to-back starts for Kevin Etma, the Macon goaltender out of Adrian College. He slammed the door shut after the first period yesterday. Allowed 4 in just 20 minutes, but from that point on was flawless. We'll see if that momentum that he and the team continue to build on throughout the night can be converted into tonight's game. There's a Georgia-Auburn game going on right now that's been periodically updated by our public address announcer tonight, John Reagan. Last we checked, Georgia was up 21-7. Due to that, really what's down here, if you're not from around here, folks, I can just tell you, you'll have to take my word for it, but it is nothing short of religion. Could be potentially part of the reason for a very late arriving crowd that we'll probably experience tonight. In the meantime, the national anthem is next. Keep it right here. That was Brandon Jones singing our country's national anthem. An excellent job done by Mr. Jones. In case you missed them, folks, your starting lineups are as follows. Jacob Barber, Mike Davis, Josh Harris starting for Birmingham up front. Mike Krokock, Alex Johnson on defense, and Art Bray in goal. The Mayhem countering with Ben Campbell, Larry Smith on defense, Kevin Etma in goal, and Danny Caesar, Danny Perez, and Josh Kuzino up front. So a veteran-heavy presence coming from the Mayhem to start this game out. It's going to be a ceremonial puck drop for the first time this season. J.C. Wilkerson taking part in that. She is a cancer survivor, and tonight being Cancer Awareness Night, J.C. gets a raucous round of applause here at the Macon Centreplex. We wish the best of luck for J.C. and her family as she continues the fight against cancer. The Mayhem hoping to use this game to turn around their misfortunes of late. They're currently on a skid that they do not want to see extend any further. They've dropped the past 5 straight in regulation. They're hoping to take this opportunity against a team that they were able to beat a few weeks ago in sound fashion to defeat them again tonight. Birmingham coming into this tilt at 3-2-2, the Mayhem at 2-5-2. Currently Birmingham ranking 7th in the SPHL, the Mayhem ranking 9th. Tonight is an enormous game, really, for both sides. Birmingham coming off of a pair of defeats at the hands of the Pensacola Ice Flyers in a home-and-home series last weekend. Now in the double digits, this is the 10th game of the 2019-20 regular season for the Mayhem. The referee for tonight's game is Jason Lordy. The linesmen are William Bray and Daniel Fendius. The puck drops. Josh Kuzno wins the first draw of the game, and we are underway. Larry Smith will slide it D-to-D to Ben Campbell, and he will scurry in behind his net, wrap one around to the far half wall. Josh Kuzno scurries away from Barber and sends it over to Smith. It goes off his stick. Kuzno will slide it across. Campbell outlets one outside of the reach of Danny Caesar. No icing. It's being waved off by the officiating crew, and Fuller will attempt to clear. Held in the zone by Campbell. He will rattle it back down the half wall. Caesar coughs it up. Out with it skate the Birmingham Bulls. And it's been dumped into the offensive zone in behind the Macon net, and Kevin Etma will dish it to his left. Larry Smith has it, and he will send it up the left wall. Danny Perez redirects it into Birmingham territory. The Bulls take over from there. With it behind his own net is Alex Johnson. Turnover in the slot. Sumalides hacked it towards the goal. Didn't have much zip on it, and he delivers a big check into the end wall against Johnson. In the meantime, the Bulls have flipped it into the Macon zone. Jarrett cut back to fetch it in the far corner. He will advance it up the right half board. Sumalides down the right side, joined by Timofeyev. Sumalides slides it back to the tail gunner. Devine from the left circle shoots off the glove of Art Bray. He makes an early big save, the Birmingham goaltender on Ryan Devine. Now from the far corner, it's Stathis Sumalides sending it back. Jarrett Cup couldn't receive the pass. As a left-handed shooting defenseman on the right side, that's a difficult play to make. Coach Michael addressed it during the pregame interview. He said it's more awkward than anything else for players of the wrong-handedness on that side. Huge body check delivered in the neutral zone by Jimmy Soper. And we're seeing a lot of physicality early on from the Mayhem. They have not let they've really just shown no mercy to the Birmingham Bulls, finishing checks all over the ice. Good sign here from the Mayhem, who are trying to make a statement after really being caught flat-footed in the first period yesterday. Oleg Kalaman whacking it up the near sideboards, and it's chiseled further by Caleb Cameron in pursuit of it left side. Now in the circle, Marcus Ortiz is pickpocketed, but he draws a penalty. Hooking will be the call against Birmingham, and the Mayhem will go to an early power play just a minute and 59 seconds into the game here. Excellent start by the Mayhem. They have really asserted their dominance in the first couple of minutes. Macon's power play coming into this game, 8th best in the SPHL, clicking at 8.3%. This Bulls penalty killing unit is the only team in the SPHL that has not allowed a power play goal on the road yet this season. Steven Pirog will take the offensive zone face-off to Art Bray's right side. Mike Davis is the culprit on that last penalty for hooking Marcus Ortiz in the left circle to slow him down. And now it's Matt Fuller scooping up a loose puck, failing to clear it past the vigilant stick of Zach Urban at the right point. He will slide it down the adjacent half wall. Sumalides turns with it behind the net. It's picked up by Pirog, flung out to the line. Timofeyev holds it and delivers it back in behind the cage again. Sumalides has it. He searches. Banks it off the boards back towards Timofeyev. It's poked off his stick. Here come the Bulls 2-on-1 shorthanded. Shane Toff right side slides it across. Urban broke it up. It eventually reaches the target, but it was too late. Harris couldn't shoot. And scurrying over to make the stop, Kevin Etma. Harris was just in too tight by the time the pass from Toff reached him. Zach Urban shut down a number of odd man rushes yesterday. He was one of the Mayhem's, probably their best defensive player yesterday in terms of breaking up opportunities. Pirog cleanly winning the defensive zone draw to Kevin Etma's right, and Urban from behind his own net will spring Timofeyev ahead up through center ice. He's brought down. Fans here wanting a penalty, none forthcoming, and the Bulls have just dumped it back in below the Macon goal line. Zach Urban in pursuit of it now, inside of the Macon trapezoid. Urban sends it right up the middle, right on the tape. Pirog enters the zone on the left side. He will carry it into the left corner and reverse it. Sumulidis gobbles it up, trickles it back to Timofeyev at the left point. His wrister is on. Art Bray with a stick save, and the puck has flown out of play. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. So we get a whistle and a stoppage in play. Timofeyev taking the shot from the left point. He scored his first 2 goals with the Mayhem last night. And perhaps now for the young Russian, the floodgates will have opened. Took him a little while to get that first one, and once he did, he was all over the place, netted another one just 29 seconds into the second period. The puck takes a friendly Macon bounce off of the referee's skate right back to Kalaman at the line. Delivered to the goal line from Soper, sent back up to Kalaman, who will feed it to the left circle for Danny Caesar, who stops, sends it back over. Kalaman's one-timer is kicked aside. Good save by Art Bray. Kalaman's got it again from the right point. He will scale it down the boards, and the puck squirts free. Kalaman delivers a huge check from the right point again on Casey Kolsicki, who eventually gets back on the puck and just barely gets it over the blue line. Soper right back into the zone. He drives, he shoots, he missed high. It rattles back to the right point. Eventually it's cleared past Ortiz, back down under the Macon net, and Kevin Etmo will try to catch the Bulls in the midst of a line change here. Danny Caesar enters the zone. Ortiz down the left side. His off wing tries to pivot. Karel Drahorid took him out of the play. Kevin Etma tapping his stick, signaling the end of the penalty called against Mike Davis, and in the meantime, the puck will just be held in the crease by Art Bray. The Bulls have killed off the penalty, though with great difficulty. The Mayhem having had a few grade A scoring opportunities, probably the best of which came from Jimmy Soper, who really just drove to the net, burst of speed right down the slot, and tried to tuck it upstairs. Glove side on Art Bray. The Bulls winning a defensive zone faceoff. Josh Harris behind his net. Matt Fuller. It's been cleared off the stick of Cole Stallard and into Macon territory. It's been all Mayhem so far through the first 4 minutes and change. Smith under pressure. Was able to work it out to Sean Lynch in the neutral zone. His pass is read and intercepted by Karel Drahorid, and the Czech Republic native will just fling one back into the Macon zone. Ben Campbell drops it off. Larry Smith with a breakout pass. Josh Kuzno had it bounce off his stick. He guns it down. Now on the right side, he will slip one into the middle, and Sean Lynch returns it for him. He goes crashing into the end wall with Lane Valamont, and the puck's been rimmed around the end wall out to the near side. Josh Harris is able to skitter one out past the red line. Larry Smith up to Danny Perez. He's met by Johnson. Johnson fires it back into the Macon zone. Larry Smith receiving a DDD pass from Ben Campbell. His outlet is redirected by Danny Perez and into the Birmingham end. Stathis Sumulidis steals the puck. He has his head up. He sends it to the circle. The one-timer is taken by Pirog. Didn't have much on it. I think the shot was blocked, and the Bulls are back in control. It's been dumped into the Macon end again. Kevin Etman will just reverse one to Jarrett Cup in the far corner. He will rattle it up the far half wall. Played by Timofeyev. He floats it off the skates, it looked like there, of Cannon Piper, and Ryan Devine will just follow up and dump it into the right corner. Matt Fuller slips one up the middle of the ice. J.M. Piotrowski, the Yale University graduate. This has been cleared into the Macon zone. The Bulls on a delayed offside here. The Mayhem reorganizing. Skating down the left side, his off wing, Stefan Timofeyev, trying to buy some time for his team to complete a line change. He's ridden off the puck into the near corner boards by his countryman Artem Kurbatov. Now from the far corner, it's dropped off for Ryan Devine, who takes a spill. Check that, Jarrett Cup. Waiting for it near the far point is Artem Kurbatov, who's able to clear it. Another penalty is going to be called here. Perhaps not a penalty, a hand pass it looks like, is the signal from the referee. Jason Lordy, the referee, signaling to the Birmingham bench. I believe hand pass was the call against the Bulls. If that's the case, it was a late call. It could have been too many men on the ice. It's one of those two things. We'll wait and hear the official decision. 6 minutes have expired here in the first period. No score just yet, but the Mayhem certainly having the edge in play through the early going. Now Jason Lordy is skating over to Terry Reynolds, the Mayhem head off ice official in the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. Mayhem are going to get an offensive zone face-off. No penalty called against Birmingham, so I'm guessing it was just a hand pass called against the visiting Bulls. Again, exactly 6 minutes have expired. Kevin Etma has not faced a Birmingham shot yet. The Mayhem with a 4-0 advantage in shots on goal. Josh Cousineau, check that. Caleb Cameron lining up, offensive zone face-off, right circle, Birmingham zone. He wins the draw, but Soper was handcuffed, and the Bulls have escaped out to center. It's been dumped into the right corner in the Macon end by Austin Doe. It's crashed into by Zach Urban along the end wall below the goal line. It skitters out to Kolzicki, who nearly took Austin Doe's head off with that shot that whistled wide. Etma comes up with his first save of the game, closing the 5-hole and making a butterfly stop. 13:43 to go in the first period. No score here in Macon. Hope you're enjoying the broadcast up till this point, folks, on SPHL Live and on YouTube. Alex Von Coyle, the voice of your Macon Mayhem, thanking you for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Shout out to Phil Jones, who I've been told is at home tuned in, feeling a little bit under the weather, and can't blame you for staying home, but thanks for tuning in, Phil. Thanks for being a diehard supporter of the Macon Mayhem. Josh Cousineau winning the defensive zone face-off, and Zach Urban sustains a check from Barber, but gets rid of it, and it's been cleared out into neutral territory, recovered now by Matt Fuller, the defenseman who leads all Birmingham players in goals, not just defensemen. Here's a shot from Caesar, right on, stopped by Art Bray. Nice pass by Cousineau in that zone entry. He set up Danny Caesar in the mid to high slot, which is a good range for him. And Caesar right now communicating with Cousineau. A couple of SPHL veterans, both with long-standing ties to the Knoxville Ice Bears organization. I'm sure the two of them were probably more upset than anybody that the Mayhem could not come away with a victory last night, despite their best efforts at a comeback. Matt Fuller exits his own zone. Smooth skating defenseman from center ice will just blast it in. Kevin Etma makes the save with his glove. I think it was earmarked for the backboards, but Etma decides to just snag it like a first baseman and hang on to it. Matt Fuller dumping it in for Birmingham. We're going to get a face-off in the Macon zone coming up here. Fuller, a London, Ontario native. He's been with the Bulls since their inauguration 2 seasons ago. To always have a solid game in this building when he plays here at the Macon Centreplex. 13:13 to go in the first period. No score. Birmingham with a clean win on the draw. From the left point, a long shot is denied by the glove hand of Etma. Now it's scooped up in the near corner by Cole Golka, who spins with it. Golka will reverse it. Shaquille Marasti being harassed by Larry Smith. A loose puck skitters to the bottom of the far circle. It's finally played by Marasti and rimmed around the end wall out to the near half side. And Jimmy Soper's attempt to clear was interrupted. Good play by Alex Johnson, who steps in to the front. He shoots, he scores. Alex Johnson, the Birmingham defenseman, with his first goal on the season, has just given the Bulls a 1-0 lead. And for the second straight night here at the Macon Centreplex, the Mayhem are going to have to come from behind. Alex Johnson really just stepping in from below the goal line, right in front of Kevin Etma, was able to beat him low blocker side. There's too much room. I don't think the Mayhem really expected a more defensive defenseman like that, Alex Johnson, who leads the Bulls in plus minus, to make a play like that. And he did. Got to give credit to him. Oftentimes, shutdown defensemen can be used as a secret weapon. They've got hands and skill and a nice shot like that in close, and they can catch a lot of folks by surprise, and he just did. Steven Pirog, left circle, fires, goes through the goal mouth and wide. Jarrett Cupp's got to change course. He keeps the play going for the time being with a nice keep. Sumalides from in behind the net, looking to center, hoping to get it to Timofeyev, who is shoved down, gets back onto his skates, sustains another check. Sumalides centers it, and Pirog couldn't get a shot off there. Here come the Bulls on the counterattack. At the end of a shift, they will just dump it in and go to the bench for a line change. And the puck was dumped on goal, so Kevin Etma made a save. 1-0 Birmingham, 8 minutes into the contest. The Mayhem certainly having the better edge in shots on goal and scoring chances, but Birmingham is the team that leads at the moment. Alex Johnson probably getting the best chance of this game, which he was able to make good on and snipe it inside the left post to beat Kevin Etma. Josh Cousineau winning the defensive zone faceoff. Zach Urban from behind his own net is taken into the boards on the near corner of the Macon zone. 2 or 3 players go scrapping for it. The puck squirts free off the skates of Caesar. He will skate it down through center ice and float one into the left corner. Icing is called against the Mayhem. Danny Caesar guilty of icing the puck. And that icing call has been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. 11:44 to go. 1-0 your score in favor of Birmingham. Mayhem winning the defensive zone draw. It's been cleared out to Danny Perez, who will redirect it further into the offensive zone. Kuzno keeps it, tries to send one to the side of the net. He circles back. The puck was right behind him, and the Bulls are out to center with it. It's fed up the left wing by J.M. Pietrowski, who skates to the net, but Kevin Etma has it in between his pads. 11:27 to go here in the first period. 1-0 is the score in favor of Birmingham. Alex Johnson scoring the Bulls' lone goal. Johnson, a South Dakota native. Josh Kuzno this time bested by Harris on the draw. A long blue line shot gets blocked and skitters into the Kalaman corner. He will outlet it to Danny Perez. Good reception. Perez into the Birmingham zone, spins with it, shovels a pass across the ice. Perez keeps it in the zone. He sends one over to Cameron, who was well covered. Cameron will just reverse it down the boards. Perez allows it to go through. Caesar twists it in front, and the puck's been whacked off the half wall on the near side and collected by Cole Stallard, who will send one rink wide, redirected off the stick of Jacob Barber, nearly out of play. Not sure why the whistle blew. It clearly stayed in play. The linesman must have seen it differently. They're saying that it went off of the glove of Alex Fatinos on the bench. So the faceoff will come to the neutral zone on the Birmingham half of the ice, right outside the Allstate bonding penalty box. The Mayhem have won the draw, but the pass back to the defenseman by Marcus Ortiz went between the two of them as Larry Smith takes a hit behind his net, gets it out to Ortiz. He can't clear it. Ortiz stays on it, however, and jolts it back out to center ice. Backpedaling now, Lane Valamont will dish it to his right for Matt Fuller. And the Mayhem could get an opportunity here as Ortiz will skate it down his off wing, trailed by Soper. Soper goes to the net. Ortiz, the shot blocker save. They score! Jimmy Soper cleans up the rebound. It went off the glove, I beg your pardon, of Art Bray, not the blocker, but Soper was right there to whack it past Art Bray. And just like that, we've got a tie game. It's 1-1. That's what Soper does. He goes to the net and he looks for loose pucks. The glove save by Art Bray was a nice one, but there was just too much of a rebound for him to contain on his own and didn't have enough help. Here's a loose puck in front of the net, backhand shot. The Mayhem nearly converting it twice in 20 seconds, but Art Bray coming up big this time. Bray just did some leather flashing on the shot from the left circle by Marcus Ortiz, who's been all over the offensive zone in the early going. Nice glove save by Bray, but the loose puck just bounced to his left. And Soper was crashing the net. He beat everyone to the loose puck. And that's a coach's goal right there, folks. Soper is going to get some love on the Macon bench. Ryan Devine in his own zone, shovels a pass a bit dangerously in front of his own goaltender, but no harm was done. Timofeyev sends it into the bottom of the left circle in the Birmingham zone. They have quickly cleared it out to center. They get a 2-on-2 here as Barber swivels into the slot and fires. Kick save by Etma with the left pad. And Stefan Timofeyev loses his stick. It's currently loose in the near circle of the Macon zone. Now here's Karel Drahorid, who has just dumped it into the Macon end. Icing is the call against Drahorid. 9:31 yet to be played in the first period. We're going to head to a media timeout. 1-1 your score through the first 10 and a half or so here at the Macon Centreplex. The first goal was scored by defenseman Alex Johnson, responded to by Jimmy Soper a few minutes later. We're going to take a brief pause here on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. We hope you're enjoying your night. We'll be back in just a moment. Keep it right here on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming and on YouTube.
Are you looking to raise some money for a cause and have a blast while doing it? The Mayhem would be happy to help you out through our fundraiser program, available for all home games throughout the season. You buy tickets from us for $10 each, you sell them for $15, and you keep the remaining $5 per ticket sold for whichever cause your heart desires. If you were to sell 50 tickets, for example, you would collect $250 for your fundraiser. Call our office at 478-803-1592 for more information.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Well, it appears we're having some issues on point streaks tonight. It is not live, so that's something we're going to have to look into. Probably by intermission will most likely be the earliest time at which we can do it. But right here from the opposite press box, there's not a whole lot I can do to look into it at the moment. Josh Harris intercepts the clearing attempt at center ice and backpedals to the red line. His pass outside of the reach of Casey Kolzicki, and it bounces off the near half wall in the Macon zone. Oleg Kalaman pressured by Kolzicki. Kalaman takes him down. The two of them go tumbling. It's been cleared out into the Birmingham end. Squeaks free. Caesar to the net, shoots. Stopped by Bray. Caesar goes crashing into the goal. It gets dislodged. And Danny Caesar looks like he is slow to get up. He went into the net at extremely high speeds, folks, and hopefully he's okay. Danny Caesar's got some wheels, and he just beat everybody to that loose puck in the foot race, and that's exactly what Ryan Michael talked about. Winning foot races and winning loose puck battles and things of that nature. And Danny Caesar did just that and generated a high-end scoring opportunity for his team. And he really took probably a bruise at the very least. He paid the price for that scoring opportunity. That's the sort of selfless play that this team needs to start making. That reaction from the crowd you just heard was a result of the Georgia Bulldogs defeating the Auburn Tigers by a score of 21-14, as just announced by our public address announcer, John Reagan. Folks who are in the Macon Centreplex tonight, folks, are absolutely the diehard Mayhem fans. For anyone in this area who's not watching that game, that's the only reason I could come up with, as Ortiz spins from above the right circle and twisted at the net, but it was stopped by Art Bray. Now Larry Smith has it at his own blue line. He'll send it to Campbell. His pass redirected into the Birmingham zone by Cameron. And now a good hit delivered by Soper in behind the net. Soper collects the loose puck, backhands a pass into the slot. The shot is on, but blocked by Campbell. And Cameron recovers, far point. He will reverse it in behind the goal again. Marcus Ortiz dropping it. Jimmy Soper wheels behind, centers it, just missed. Cameron Ortiz's shot is stopped by Art Bray. Outstretched right pad kick saved by Bray. Now it's battled for near corner, a surge by this line. Larry Smith, left point, misses the net, goes off the backboards with his shot, and Cameron kicks it back into the far corner. Been worked back up towards the Birmingham point, but intercepted. Kolzicki will just float it into the Macon zone, right corner. Larry Smith is checked. Timofeyev attempts the outlet pass. It was read and intercepted by Artem Kurbatov. Now it's Mike Davis down the left boards. Sends it off the back wall. And it's going to be scooped up by Timofeyev in his own corner. He will outlet it up the left wall. And here comes Stephen Pirog dancing in. He fires. It gets blocked and skitters wide of the goal. Matt Fuller puts it behind the cage. Artem Kurbatov will shovel it off the glass. Jarrett Cupp couldn't keep it in the zone. Matt Fuller now has it. Set up J.M. Pietrowski. Pietrowski pumps it into Macon territory. Ryan Devine slowed it down but couldn't establish possession. Pietrowski turning and shooting. It gets blocked. Another penalty is going to be called here, I believe, against Birmingham. Pietrowski, the guilty party. He had the puck, and he is still found guilty of tripping. You don't see that very often. He sort of, I suppose he lost the puck momentarily. He turned from the far circle in the Macon zone and tried to whip a shot at the net, and after it was blocked, he tried to get back on it, and in so doing, he tripped up the Mayhem defender who blocked the shot. So J.M. Pietrowski is going to have a seat, and the Mayhem will get an opportunity here, a second chance on the power play with 7:13 to go in the first period. Both teams having scored so far in this game once. Alex Johnson first, Jimmy Soper second, and we're tied up at a goal apiece. Offensive zone face-off for Caleb Cameron. Will be countered by Josh Harris, the SPHL's leader with 11 assists on the campaign. Austin Doe whips it all the way down the ice. Kevin Etma gloves it and sets it down. Oleg Kalaman begins the breakout, slides it to his left. Caleb Cameron's got it. Cameron swivels across the blue line, leaves it for Marcus Ortiz. He tried to snipe one glove side on Art Bray, missed the net, and it rolls back out into the neutral zone. Kalaman again from his own end. Up to the red line, Oleg Kalaman feeds it to his right this time. Caleb Cameron dances down the right half wall, reverses it back to the line. Kalaman taps it back. Here's a centering pass for Ortiz. His shot is blocked. Puck is kept alive nicely by a jumping Ortiz, but the second effort, the Bulls are able to clear it out. Ortiz gets back on it, his own blue line. Shovels a wobbling puck over to Caesar near the red line. He will enter the Birmingham zone and across their blue line and dump it in behind the net. It's scooped up by Steven Pirog, and he's well defended. The puck's been cleared. It's rolling down the Macon slot, scooped up now by Stefan Timofeyev. Had a pair of goals yesterday as he negotiates his way across the Birmingham line. Sets up Sumilidis on his left. Stathis Sumilidis, left corner. He swivels his way towards the left point, still with the puck on his stick. Sends it down the adjacent half wall, twisted in front by Timofeyev. Point blank opportunity by Pirog is denied by Bray. Here come the Bulls short-handed with time winding down in the power play, 35 seconds. Shaquille Marasti weaves all the way around behind the net. Did not have much room to work with, and the Mayhem could get a 3-on-2 here. Another delayed penalty against Birmingham. Perez into the slot. Pirog back to Perez, back to Pirog, overskated. And the penalty is called. Ryan Devine drops the gloves. They're going at it right now. Shaquille Marasti has got to answer for what happened earlier, and Ryan Devine is going to make him do it. Both of them trying to get in some rights. Marasti gets in a right, but Ryan Devine takes him down to the ice right in front of the Birmingham bench. Ryan Devine just being a good teammate. He saw something he didn't like, and he's going to make Shaquille Marasti pay for it. Devine yesterday really wanted to go with Marley Quince. He was trying to get his attention and get him to drop the gloves. Quince would have nothing of it. So Devine, with an opportunity to sort of redeem himself after he wanted to fight last night, couldn't find any takers. Tonight he did. Shaquille Marasti, remember folks, 3 weeks ago fought against Stathis Sumilidis the last time the Bulls were in town. And Ryan Devine getting the takedown, if I'm not mistaken. That's the first clean-cut fight the Mayhem have won this season. So Devine to the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box, and Shaquille Marasti to the Allstate Bonding penalty box. There was going to be a penalty called against Birmingham either way. And if I'm not mistaken, they'll be sending somebody else to the sin bin. Unless, of course, Devine is penalized for instigating or something on top of the fight. And that decision will be up to Jason Lordy. 5.5 yet to play. The Mayhem with 19 seconds remaining on their Wild Wing Cafe power play. They may be going to a 5-on-3. We'll just have to wait and see. And we were correct. Josh Harris, it appears, although he may not be skating to the box, he is one of Birmingham's captains. He may just be discussing the call. But looks like Harris will not be going into the box. He was just near it to discuss the penalty. The second penalty was called against Shaquille Marasti, so there's no need to send anybody else in there. Marasti will just be there for the next 7 minutes, so there's really no reason he needs to sit in the box. He could just go back down to the Birmingham tunnel, because no matter what, he's not going to return this period to the game. 5:32 remaining here in period 1. 1-1 your score. Matt Fuller with the puck on his stick, clears it all the way down. This 5-on-3 Mayhem power play is brought to you by Wild Wing Cafe. Zach Urban to his left, Danny Perez with lots of room enters the Birmingham zone, drops it back to Urban. He switches with Stefan Timofeyev. Timofeyev left circle. Urban, high slot, fires a wrister, it gets blocked. He's got to hurry back. Breakaway oncoming. Josh Harris right down the slot. Harris to the goal. Stopped by Urban. He back-checked well, but a penalty shot will be called. Urban hooked him and got his stick in the way of the potential shot. Josh Harris, drawing a penalty shot, is going to have an opportunity to bring the Bulls back in front. 5:01 remaining in the first period. Josh Harris blocking the shot by Zach Urban, who recovered. He knew that he was the only man really who had a chance to catch him, but in doing so, he hooked him on the back check, and while Harris didn't get a shot off, it was a pretty obvious penalty shot. Last time the Mayhem allowed a penalty shot was on March 9th of 2019 in Fayetteville. Thought was no goal against Ian Silvis. So this is not somebody you want on the, if you're Macon, this is probably the last person you want to have a penalty shot here. Jan Piotrowski's right now is being escorted down the Birmingham tunnel. Though Josh Harris certainly more of an assist man than a goal scorer. Still, without a doubt, has got some skills that will be well conducive to a penalty shot opportunity. Austin Doe is now in the Birmingham box. J.M. Piotrowski went down the tunnel and Doe is serving his place. Morasti is still in there. Josh Harris about to take a penalty shot with an opportunity to score his first goal of the season and to bring his team back in front. The Birmingham captain with 11 assists so far this season, still looking for his first goal. He can get one here. Josh Harris down the left side. Harris shoots. Entma the save. Good stick save by the Macon goaltender, robbing Josh Harris of a penalty shot goal. We continue at 1 goal apiece, and Zach Urban skates right over to Kevin Entma and embraces him and thanks him for bailing him out just moments ago. Zach Urban, he realizes that that wrist shot was not the best the time to take it, as it got blocked and resulted in a breakaway the other way. Commend him for his efforts in back checking and trying to get in Harris's way as much as he could, but he just got a little bit too much of him. Kevin Entma really bailing out his team moments ago. The power play continues for Macon. 1:18 to go on it. Marcus Ortiz, left side, enters the zone but is dispossessed of it. Kalaman feeds it to the right side for Jimmy Soper, who flings it rink wide. Marcus Ortiz in the left corner, steps around a check and sends one through the crease. Too hot to handle for Soper. Right half wall, given from Kalaman to Soper. Back to Kalaman. Skate to stick play, outer hash marks, far circle. He delays. Puck skitters over Soper's stick inside of the Birmingham trapezoid. Now it's Danny Caesar battling for it in the near corner. Casey Kolzicki shoveling it off the glass, but not out. Kalaman with a good keep. Sends it down to the corner again. Danny Caesar is hit into the boards, and play is allowed to continue here. Matt Fuller with time winding down on Birmingham's penalty kill. Just 35 seconds to go. The Bulls and the Mayhem completing partial line changes at the moment. In the meantime, it's Oleg Kalaman on the breakout pass to his left. Jimmy Soper from the red line will send one ahead off the stick of Timofeyev. He goes in after it, met by Alex Johnson. Loose puck collected by Danny Perez, given from Soper back to Perez again. Jimmy Soper near half wall. Soper skates out to the slot, dishes it to his right. Timofeyev this way for Kalaman. His wrister is gloved and held by Art Bray. Oleg Kalaman still searching for his first point with the Mayhem, but as Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michaels stated during the pregame interview, he's somebody that he can see having a lot of potential in terms of quarterbacking a power play. His passes are tape to tape almost every time. He's an extremely accurate shooter and passer, and he can really bring it too. And for a big defenseman, he can move pretty well, and his shot is pretty hard. Art Bray just able to see it the whole way and make the save with his glove. Bray, a graduate of St. Lawrence University, is playing his first season in the SPHL, and he's gotten off to a pretty darn good start. Right now, Bray is ranked 3rd in the SPHL in save percentage, just behind Danny Taroni and just ahead of Kevin Entma. The folks here in the Macon Centreplex giving a round of applause and a standing ovation to those who have served our country and continue to do so. Of course, we'd like to invite you folks tuned in out there to nominate a hero to be our Blues Painting and Home Repair Hero of the Game. You can do that by visiting our website, maconmayhem.com, and going under the Community tab. Stephen Pirog wins the offensive zone faceoff. Time has expired on the penalty on the Macon power play. As the puck squeaks over the stick of Stathis Sumilidis, Larry Smith sends it back ahead into the Birmingham zone. Puck's been slid by Smith. It was going wider than that. Entma decided to play it. He will leave it for Smith. His pass is played by Sumilidis. Stathis Sumilidis drops it to Pirog across the line. Pirog will slide it down the left corner boards, and Sumilidis delivers a check, wins the puck back, feeds it back to the point. Larry Smith gives it over to Campbell. Ben Campbell twists it in behind the goal. Sumilidis scoops it up. He looks to the front of the net. He's got Pirog set up there. Long point shot by Campbell gets blocked. Here comes Mike Davis on a breakaway for Birmingham. Davis to the goal. Backhand shot. He scores. Mike Davis blocking the point shot from Ben Campbell. Skating right back down into the Macon zone. Shifting from his forehand to his backhand and beating Kevin Entma glove side. Has regained Birmingham's lead. Mike Davis with his 4th goal in the season, and it's 2-1 Bulls. It's an unassisted strike by the Birmingham sniper. Certainly not the guy you want to give a breakaway to. There have been far too many breakaways given to Birmingham so far in this game. We mentioned how Macon's really been dominant in terms of the offensive zone time and sustained attack, and that's been true, but Birmingham's counterattacks have really given them better opportunities than the Mayhem have generated despite dominating puck possession. And a big issue has been just the timing at which the Mayhem defensemen have decided to take their shots. They're shooting really just over and over again, right into the skates right in front of them, and the puck's bouncing the other way. And before they're able to get back in time, Birmingham sharpshooters are really uncontested on breakaways. Icing is going to be called against Macon here. Mayhem are going to have to take a defensive zone draw with 2:22 left to be played in the first period. The visitors up 2-1 over Macon, despite being outshot 13-8. Birmingham wins the offensive zone faceoff cleanly. Austin Doe, right circle, fires, blocked by Urban. Oleg Kalaman took his man down in the crease, got away with it. And there's a lot of grace being given by the officials during those net mouth scraps. Loose puck collected in between the hash marks, fed back to the line. Drahorid centers it. Here's a wrist shot through traffic. Entma the save, he's down, gets back up onto his skates. It flutters up in the air, and it's finally skated out of harm's way by Danny Caesar. And there was a shove behind the play. Kevin Entma skates to the bench, a 6th attacker on the ice for Macon. Danny Caesar sends it over to Jarrett Cupp. Outer hash marks right circle, put his shot on goal, and it's sticked out of play by Art Bray. And that's J.M. Piotrowski, who been a little bit hot-headed in the first period tonight, and he's going to have a seat. He knows exactly what he did. He shoved Kevin Entma behind the play and hoped that Jason Lordy wouldn't be looking, but Lordy saw it. The Mayhem going back to their 4th power play of this period already, as J.M. Piotrowski has just made his 2nd trip to the All-State bonding penalty box, and Shaquille Morasti is still in there. He was in there several minutes ago when Piotrowski was let out. Minute 44 to go in the first period. Pirog winning the faceoff, but Urban couldn't hold the line. He dekes to his right and pumps it out towards the right corner, scooped up by Fuller and slammed down the ice. Kevin Entma leaves it for Stefan Timofeyev. Piotrowski given an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Now here comes Timofeyev down the right wing. Sumilidis to the goal. Timofeyev's shot gets blocked and sails into the near corner of the Birmingham zone. They're able to just barely clear it past the blue line. Matt Fuller down the right wing. He's defended by Zach Urban. Fuller just tries to kill some time here as he skates into the deep slot and fires it over top of the net. Kareem's off the backboard stanchions, and Zach Urban will just pass it to himself off the near half wall. He sends it into the neutral zone. Stefan Timofeyev in across the Birmingham blue line, weaves wide, carries behind the net. Timofeyev with his head up centers it. Ortiz was stick checked. The Bulls got on it quickly and cleared it all the way down. 45 seconds to go in the period. Oleg Kalaman, long pass out to center. Picked up by Ortiz, dropped off, Caesar centers it, Ortiz is in to the backhand, shoots, and a chest save is made by Bray. Rebound bounces out to Cameron, far half wall, bobbles it a bit, just enough for the Bulls to clear it. Skated down the left wing by Cannon Piper of Birmingham. He's defended by Kalaman, Piper with a shot, and a high shoulder save is made by Entma. 20 seconds. Caesar on his off wing, enters the Birmingham zone. He sets up Soper at the goal line. He centers it. Cameron's shot is patted away. And the puck could not be kept in at the line by Oleg Kalaman, just barely skittered it back across the blue line. Art Bray coming up big with a one-timer save on Caleb Cameron moments ago. Keeps his team ahead by a goal rather. 2-1 the score in favor of Birmingham through the first 20 minutes of play. So it was really a dominant period by Macon, folks, but there were just too many instances in which their shots were blocked at the points, and the loose puck slid back out into the neutral zone, and Birmingham's forwards, despite really virtually being exhausted from non-stop defending in their own zone, were able to muster up enough speed. That's what happens, folks. It's a burst of adrenaline. When you see nothing but a clean sheet of ice between you and the opposing goaltender, you get that extra boost you need to outskate everybody else out there and drive to the front of the net. And though one breakaway did not cost the Mayhem due to a penalty shot save made by Kevin Entma on Josh Harris, the next one would cost them. A point shot by Ben Campbell got blocked. Mike Davis, who's a natural sniper, unlike Harris, who's a natural playmaker. Davis skated down the left wing, who he really just sort of deked from his forehand to his backhand, and Kevin Entma couldn't quite get over in time to make the glove snag. So Davis's goal, putting the Bulls back in front. 2-1 the score through the first period of play. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast thus far, folks, on SBHL Live and on YouTube. We're going to hear from the Mayhem goaltender Kevin Entma momentarily, after which, in case you missed the pregame interview with Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael, we'll play that back for you as well. In the meantime, keep it right here, folks. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. After the interviews with goaltender Kevin Entma and assistant coach Ryan Michael, we'll take a look around the SBHL for some out-of-town scoreboard updates and much more, all coming your way next on SBHL Live and on YouTube. We'll be back shortly, folks. Keep it right here. Okay, welcome back, folks. And again, thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming, and on YouTube. Alex Von Cote, the voice of your Mayhem, and I had the chance to catch up with goaltender Kevin Entma. Kevin, first off, really appreciate your time here, and thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
So, Kevin, just kind of walk me through the process of returning to Macon. You got back earlier this week. I guess, when did you get back, and when did you learn you'd be starting last night, et cetera?
I flew in, Thursday morning, 7 a.m. flight. Got to the rink a little too late to practice with the guys, but then I was here for morning skate and kind of just got right back into the swing of things. It was pretty easy. Obviously, I'm comfortable here, so pretty easy transition back to Macon here, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, and it was a welcome surprise. Our fans didn't really expect it, and when we heard you were back, there was a lot of excitement around the organization and everything like that. Kevin, I wanted to ask you what your experience was like down in Orlando. You didn't play there, but what was it like just being down there, and I guess what were some of your impressions of the Solar Bears as an organization?
Yeah, it was a great experience. The Solar Bears are definitely one of those top organizations in the ECHL, so it was great to kind of see how they go through things and see some of those like NHL contracted players, how they go about their game. And it was a learning experience for me. Obviously, I would have liked to get in some games or get in some time at least, but I was stuck behind a hot goalie there, and not really much I could have done. I just worked hard in practice and came back here and tried to bring what I learned to the team here to help us out.
Definitely. And speaking of, I wanted to talk to you about yesterday's game. It was a tough start that the team got off to, giving up a season-high 4 goals in the first period, but the team really bounced back. You guys dialed in very well, didn't give up another one for the rest of the night, and just kept chipping away at the deficit. What does it say about this team that it just never quit on the result and just kept battling for the next 2 periods?
Yeah, obviously 4 goals in the first period, and you never want to have that as a goalie. You don't even want to have 4 goals in a game, obviously, but I obviously would have liked to control some of those rebounds and make it easier on my defense, but our team battles. We're a hard-working group, and bounces just kind of haven't been going our way. So as long as we keep keep pushing, keep working hard, the bounces are definitely going to come. We have the skill to definitely put some wins together here.
Without a doubt. It feels like just game after game, there's so many surges of just brilliance from this Mayhem team, and it feels like it's just a matter of time before good things start happening here. And a good thing that did happen yesterday, Stefan Timofeyev got his first goal with the team. It launched the underwear toss, the whitey-tighty toss. How did it feel to kind of see all those, cold weather garments raining down and knowing that they'd all get donated to a local charity here?
Yeah, that's a great cause. Like, anytime that the hockey community can help out, we take advantage of it. So it's great. But also, from Timo's standpoint, obviously nice to get the monkey off his back, and he was flying after that, so it was good to see.
Is it a coincidence that he just happened to score his second goal just a few minutes after that?
No, I think the fire was lit at that point, so we'll see tonight, and I think more of the same, hopefully.
Hopefully so. Kevin, all right, I've just got one last question for you. Birmingham is in town tonight. You had a great performance against them 3 weeks ago when they played here back on October 26th. Is that a team where you feel like you might have their number?
It's too early to say. Obviously, we just have to work hard. That weekend when we got the 2 wins, that was a huge weekend for us. For the start, we want to get back to that and just work hard. Every team in this league is pretty competitive, so we just want to get back to the win column and work hard by doing that.
Sounds great, Kevin. Well, I'll let you get at it. Again, appreciate your time and good luck out there.
All right, thank you very much.
That's Kevin Etma, number 35, goaltender for your Macon Mayhem. This has been your first intermission report. We'll be back in just a moment with your Hampton Inn & Suites out-of-town scoreboard update and more right after this.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Well, as promised, we're going to bring you your out-of-town scoreboard update presented by Hampton Inn & Suite. Probably the most important scoreboard update that you're wanting to hear if you're somewhere in the Macon area listening to this game. The Georgia Bulldogs defeated the Auburn Tigers by a score of 21-14. That's a long-standing rivalry. I know our general manager, Blair Floyd, is not going to be happy about that result. But if you're a Dogs fan, as most of our fans are, it's good news for you. It's a good day. We'll see if the Mayhem can add to that good day even further with a win tonight. They are trailing by a 2-1 score, but they certainly got the better of the Bulls in that opening period, outshooting them 15-11. And they had certainly the bulk of offensive time on attack and things like that. Puck possession was in their favor, but Birmingham just got a few breakaways and odd man rushes and converted, except for their penalty shot, which Kevin Etma denied towards the end of the period. Now, let's take a look around the league. Fayetteville hosting Roanoke, 4-3 the score in favor of the Fayetteville Marksmen late in period 2. And then the rest of the games yet to get underway. It's every other game is in the Central Standard Time Zone, so Huntsville will host Knoxville in a few moments here. That will be the first game to start, followed by Pensacola hosting the Quad City Storm. So a long bus ride for those boys from the north. And then Evansville will host the Peoria Rivermen, team they just defeated last night, ending Peoria's undefeated season in a shootout. The Evansville Thunderbolts with a 4-3 victory over the Rivermen in the shootout yesterday are hoping to take another 2 points against the top-ranked team in the SPHL today. That wraps up your out-of-town scoreboard update brought to you by Hampton Inn & Suites. As mentioned, folks, we know that some of you tuned in tonight, didn't get a chance to jump onto the stream early enough, so if you missed the interview with Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael, we'll play that back for you momentarily. So enjoy that interview with the Mayhem assistant coach. In the meantime, we'll be back in about 6.5 minutes or so to get you ready for second period action right here at the Macon Centreplex. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back soon.
Okay, welcome back, folks, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on SPHL Live, powered by Endeavor Streaming, and on YouTube. We're so glad to have you with us here for our pregame show. I had the privilege of being joined by Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael. Coach, really appreciate your time. Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
So, Coach, I wanted to ask you about yesterday. It was sort of the opposite of what happened last Saturday, where, instead of a great start and a slow finish, it was more of a slow start and a strong finish. How are you guys trying to sort of find that middle ground, I guess?
Well, I think, like you said, it was a bit of an opposite of last weekend, but I think the message is still the same. It's all about, playing 60 minutes and not having mental lapses, whether that's the first period or the third, and I think that's kind of what the Achilles heel is right now. We're just it's not complete effort for 20 minutes 3 times. So I think that's just the focus going forward, just being mentally sharp and ready to go from the bat and continuing that throughout the course of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. The mental element is always half the battle, if not more than that. And Coach, one of the things that was a really exciting moment, I would say, yesterday was when Stefan Timofeyev he scored his first goal with the organization, got another one, just 29 seconds into the second period. He's really starting to make a name for himself here in Macon. Stood up for himself last weekend against a much larger opponent in Erik Levine. What sort of potential do you see him having as a player?
Well, he's undersized, but he's quick, he's agile, sees the game well, great puck skills, great stick skills. I think he's kind of starting to shoot the puck more. We've been on him a little bit in practice that I think he tries to make the pass first too much, and the benefit, I think, of him getting the message yesterday was him being able to put some goals in the net. So hopefully he continues to do that, because he's a guy that can, in any given night, can make 1 or 2 spectacular, skillful plays for us.
Well, scoring goals can be kind of addicting. So now that he's done it a couple of times, maybe he'll start shooting more and passing a little bit less, like you guys are hoping. His fellow Russian, Oleg Kalaman, I've noticed he's been getting a lot more time on the power play in particular. And I thought the man advantage past couple games has actually looked pretty sharp. The result hasn't been reflective, I don't think, of what the team's been able to do and move the puck on the power play. Do you see Oleg as being a potential power play quarterback for this team going forward, or is it just sort of more of an experimental thing here in the early going?
No, I definitely see it. You can tell he played in the higher league back home in Russia. He makes hard, flat passes, and they're accurate pretty much all the time, and that's it's pretty crucial for being on the power play. Usually sucking the top guy to you and making that good initial pass is what I think is setting up a lot of our chances on the man advantage, like you mentioned, the last few games. So hopefully, he can kind of continue to build off it and refine it, and we can start getting some more in the net here.
Yeah, and Mike, as a fellow defenseman yourself, or a former defenseman yourself, I wanted to ask you about the blue line right now. After losing Nick Minerva to the ECHL, losing Rennie Hunter, the team's really short on right-handed defensemen at the moment. Last night, I think there were a few occasions in which a player playing on his offhanded point maybe struggled a little bit keeping the puck alive at the blue line, because he had to keep shifting to his backhand to keep the play going. It's a side they're not usually accustomed to playing, because the team's got right now has got so many sort of an excess of left-handed defensemen. As a fellow defenseman, do you think it really makes a substantial difference what side of the ice you play, or is there just kind of a small hump that it doesn't take much to get over it?
I think it's in between. It's not small and it's not substantial. It's just, I think the best word, it's a little awkward. Everything that comes naturally and usually is easier, especially whether it's dump-ins and breakouts or keeping the puck in at the point, like you said. It's so much easier when you're on your right side, right. And kind of not having to rely on your backhand under pressure, especially late in the period when pucks are bouncing. But we kind of worked on some of that during pregame. With some of the left ED just going to the other point, and me putting pucks along the wall just to try to make it as comfortable as possible. It's obviously not ideal, but it's just something we got to make it work for now.
Did either of those what sort of, I guess, possessed your decision to put Cupper on that side and Ben Campbell on that side? Had they played previously in college or anything like that, or were they just more comfortable over there?
I think the two of them felt the most comfortable being over there, and they're both kind of smaller, mobile guys, so I think it's easier for them to do it than some of our bigger players. So I think that was kind of the decision to go that way.
That makes sense. All right, Coach, I'm going to ask you one last question. I'll let you get right back at it. We're in a similar situation now to the one we were in a few weeks ago, where Birmingham comes into this building having had last night off, just like they did 3 weeks ago. The team came off a 1-goal loss, just like they did a few weeks ago. The team that didn't play last night like them, they might be a little bit rusty. They might have some bust legs. How did you take advantage of that situation 3 weeks ago and come away with a 4-1 win?
Well, I reviewed a bit of that tape from 3 weeks ago, and we were just all over the puck. We were hounding pucks all over the ice. We were first to battles, winning races. I don't think we let them get into the game for the most part, and that was kind of the message, during film, this afternoon, going over kind of the mistakes from last night, reviewing kind of their tendencies, and then going back to what we did so well 3 weeks ago against these guys, and hopefully, the stars aligned a lot from 3 weeks ago to tonight, and we can kind of replicate that and get a win.
Absolutely. It's one that's long overdue. There's just too much talent on this team for it to not happen soon. We can just see the good things starting to happen. It's just a matter of having it all come together and the stars aligning, as Coach Michael just put it. Coach, again, appreciate your time. Thanks so much, and good luck out there tonight.
Thanks, Alex.
That's Ryan Michael, assistant coach for your Macon Mayhem.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We hope you enjoyed that playback and the interview from the pregame show with Mayhem assistant coach Ryan Michael. Always good to catch up with Mikes. We don't get to do it as often as we would like. Very well-spoken, intelligent assistant coach for the Macon Mayhem. 2-1 the score in favor of the Birmingham Bulls. Coming into this game, they're a team that dropped a couple of straight tilts at the hands of the Pensacola Ice Flyers in a home-and-home series last weekend. They're really trying to get back to their winning ways. They went all the way to the President's Cup championship game last season and fell 2-0 at the hands of the then defending champs, the Huntsville Havoc. So they're a team that's just as hungry as the Mayhem are to collect some wins here. The Mayhem having dropped 5 straight in regulation. So it's been a while since they've managed to secure a point. And they got off to a great start. They were humming all over the offensive zone, out shooting the Bulls by a margin of 4, 15-11 the shots on goal. I don't even think that does it justice. The Mayhem just dominant in terms of offensive zone time and time on attack, time of possession, things like that. But Birmingham certainly had the better counterattacks and probably the higher-end scoring opportunities. They got a penalty shot. They got a breakaway goal from Mike Davis. They've done a great job of blocking shots and quickly countering with transition attacks. And Kevin Etma can only bail the Mayhem out so many times. He's got to get a little bit more help from the back checkers, and it's difficult when you're a defenseman and you try to get your shot through traffic. I understand the Mayhem coaching staff have always been very supportive of defensemen taking shots at the net because it could lead to deflections, rebounds, goaltenders being screened and not seeing the shot on the way through, things like that. But as a defenseman, it's risky when you're taking those shots because there's a very good chance it gets blocked and it slides back the other way, and all of a sudden it goes from being a surge in the offensive zone to a breakaway the other direction. And that's exactly what happened on Birmingham's second goal, scored by Mike Davis, who is a natural goal scorer. He really, if you could pick anyone on the Birmingham roster, handpick anyone to not give a breakaway to, he would probably be the guy. And he showed you why. He skated down the left side with speed. He didn't look back. He didn't seem to be in two minds at all about what he wanted to do. And he sold the forehand shot well, deked from his left to his right to the backhand side, and beat Kevin Etma just inside the right post. And the Macon netminder unable to snag it with his glove. So Birmingham in this period will be skating from right to left. The Mayhem will be skating from left to right. 2-1 the score in favor of the Birmingham Bulls. The Mayhem out shooting the visitors 15-11. There will be 17 seconds of carryover time on the penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct called against J.M. Pietrowski, who was found guilty of just shoving the Macon goaltender Kevin Etma behind the play in the closing 2 minutes of the first period. One last out-of-town scoreboard update presented by Hampton Inn Suites before we get started here for period 2. Fayetteville leads 4-3 at the closing of the second period up in Fayetteville, Crown Coliseum, in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They right now have the 4-3 advantage over the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs, a team sitting in last place at the moment. Dan Bremner and company have really got to find a way to start winning some games. Their only win, in fact, came against the Mayhem back on October 25th. Huntsville and Knoxville about to be underway. They're in their pregame festivities right now. Pensacola and Quad City, same story there, down in Pensacola. And then Evansville will be hosting the Peoria Rivermen in about 15 minutes or so. In the meantime, this game just about ready to be back underway. Again, 17 seconds remaining on the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty called against J.M. Pietrowski. Stephen Pirog will take the first face-off of period 2. For Birmingham, it will be his counterpart, Jacob Barber. I beg your pardon, Josh Harris. Josh Harris and Stephen Pirog sort of almost carbon copies of one another in terms of what they've done for their teams this season, wearing the C and leading the team in points and assists with 11 and 8 respectively, all of their points coming from assists this season. Second period is now underway as Zach Urban outlets it to his right. Stefan Timofeyev floating one below the goal line on the right side of the ice, and Sumalitis is checked by Fuller. Timofeyev goes in helping Sumalitis out. Pries the puck free, but right to Lane Valamont, who is on his horse as he skates out into the neutral zone and wings it up to J.M. Pietrowski, fresh out of the penalty box. Will now skate to the Birmingham bench, and Sumalitis receives the pass from Kevin Etma in the neutral zone. Harris will slide it back to his defenseman Alex Johnson, who opened the scoring tonight. Long stretch pass reaches the intended target, Austin Doe. Now here come the Mayhem. Stephen Pirog down the left side, joined by Sumalitis. Pirog pulls up into the slot. He fires, and a glove save is made by Art Bray. Stephen Pirog looks skyward in frustration. He's still looking for his first goal with the Mayhem this season. Like we said, he's done everything really but score a goal this season. He's got the most points on the team without scoring a goal, which is simply marvelous to think about. All of his points have been assists. Caleb Cameron, offensive zone face-off to the left of Art Bray. The puck drops. Cameron wins the draw. The puck skitters in between the hash marks, and the Bulls are out to center with it. It's been flung into the offensive zone by Mike Davis. Ryan Devine pumps it up the left wall. Puck bounces right back into the Macon high slot. Davis settles it down and is checked into the half wall. Jarrett Cupp took an elbow up high, it looked like to his nose. Puck floats out to Ortiz now in front of the penalty boxes. Over skates it a tad. Shane Toff into the Macon zone. Sends it into the left corner. Cannon Piper's got it. Piper twisting and turning and centering one. Ryan Devine was there to pick it off. He will angle it off the boards on the far side. It goes off a Birmingham player on the bench, and we get a whistle stopping play. 18:26 to go in the second period. 2-1 Birmingham, your score. Those of you interested in coming out to a game next weekend, the Mayhem are back at the Macon Centreplex for a third consecutive weekend. They'll be hosting the Evansville Thunderbolts on both Friday and Saturday of next week. November 22nd, November 23rd. We hope to see you out here for Country Night on Friday and Mossy Oak Night on Saturday. The Mayhem will be wearing specialty Mossy Oak jerseys both nights, the likes of which will be revealed on Mayhem's social media early next week, so keep your eyes peeled. Larry Smith out to Danny Perez, who redirects it towards the Birmingham blue line, scooped up by Fuller and dumped back in. Entma stops the puck behind his own net. He slides it back around in the direction from which he got it. Chipped out by Danny Perez and flung rink wide off the near side boards. Danny Caesar enters the Birmingham zone. And now Josh Cousineau scraps for it in behind the Birmingham net. Shaquille Marasti loses the puck. Perez leaves it for Cousineau. He takes over behind the Birmingham cage. He sends it back to the line. Smith with a shot off the glove of Bray. Picked up by Caesar, twisted back at the net, and stopped by Bray. That was a smart play by Danny Caesar. He nearly banked it in off the back skate of Art Bray. Not enough players attempt that shot from what seems to be an impossible angle, but if you get it just right, you can bank it in off the back of the skate of the opposing goaltender. The Bulls have just cleared the puck all the way down and avoided an icing call. A long stretch pass redirected into the Birmingham zone by Stathis Sumalitis from shy of the red line, so icing is called. That icing is brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. A little trick that I learned from Corey Lieberman, a Minnesota State University Mankato product, currently the top-ranked NCAA program in the nation. When he played at Mankato, he scored, he told me, probably 1/3 of his goals that way by just parking himself behind the opposing net and banking it in off the back of the goalie's skate. Here comes Timofeyev. Good outlet pass from Pirog, and Timofeyev's shot misses the right post. And now back the other way, Birmingham skates it. Harris and across the blue line, lost it back to the point. It's recovered by Birmingham. Centering pass for Valamont goes all the way through. And it's twisted on goal by Cole Stallard and held by Kevin Etma, who saw it all the way. 16:56 to go in the second. 2-1 Birmingham is your score. Cole Stallard, the last Bulls player to shoot the puck. Stallard, a rookie out of Woodstock, Georgia, scored a goal in his pro debut against Evansville several Saturdays ago. Zach Urban up to Soper. He's checked from behind. Cannon Piper goes in behind the Macon net to play the puck. He rolls it to Shane Toff. Near corner, Toff had it on his stick and tried to whip it at the net. Not sure I've seen a shot like that this season. Lifted the puck up with it on his stick, and it was just sort of stagnant there. He managed to exercise extreme hand-eye coordination. Kevin Entman makes a pad save, and the Mayhem are out to center with it. Caleb Cameron down the left wing. He's steered into the boards by Alex Johnson. Puck flutters to the right half wall. Jimmy Soper overskates at Mike Davis down the left side. Couldn't slip one through. Soper on the counterattack. He's got numbers joining him. Soper drops it off. Cup skates in. He fires, and a pad save is made by Art Bray. The Bulls get a counterattack now. 3-on-3. And somehow slipping by with the puck there was Cannon Piper. He lost it into the slot this time, however, and Cameron has just cleared it ahead for Caesar. Caesar drops it back to the Macon logo, gets a nice return pass from Cameron, who goes to the Macon bench for a line change. Caesar drops it to the point. Here's a shot from Devine. Misfires. It was blocked. Perez, far corner. Danny Perez turns with it. Pietrowski defending him. Perez leaves it now. Josh Kuzno twists it back in behind. Perez has it from a tough angle. Spins it off the side of the net. Danny Caesar's back on it. Below the goal line, far corner. Caesar works his way up to the half wall on the far side. He centers it. It's picked off by Morasti and cleared. Perez will reach it first. He slams it back off the boards. Cole Golka has it reach him, and he will deposit one back into Macon territory. Ryan Devine sends it off the back wall. Here comes Cousineau, and across the Birmingham blue line with a wrister right into the glove hand of Art Bray. We're exactly 5 minutes into the second period, a quarter of the way through period 2. 2-1 the score in favor of the Birmingham Bulls. Their goals coming from Alex Johnson and Mike Davis in that order, and Macon's lone strike coming off the stick of Jimmy Soper from the backhand. Soper, an ex-Kitchener Ranger, back at wing this season, former Newfoundland Growler. We're going to take a brief pause in the Mayhem Broadcast Network, folks. We'll be back in just a moment. Keep it right here on SPHL Live and on YouTube.
The beloved Family 4-Pack is back. The Mayhem are offering this incredibly affordable package for several games throughout the season. For just $50, you receive 4 tickets and a $30 gift card to Texas Roadhouse at 5080 Riverside Drive right here in Macon. The dates for these 4-pack nights will be announced on social media as they become finalized, so be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for all the most up-to-date content.
Stephen Pirog will go to work on an offensive zone face-off to the left of Bray. Bray's been magnificent tonight, his glove side in particular. So the only time he was beat was when he failed to glove a shot coming from Marcus Ortiz. It just had too much mustard on it, and the rebound was stuffed home by Jimmy Soper. So Pirog goes in, swoops in behind the Birmingham goal line. Timofeyev's pass is intercepted, and the Bulls have cleared it. Laid down by Ben Campbell, twisted back to the Birmingham blue line. Sumalides jumping down the right side. He's ridden into the corner board, stays on his skates, still has the puck. He will slip one through back to the line for Campbell, who had skated a few strides too far forward and has to now regroup in his own zone. Sumalides, left wing, will shoot from a tough angle. Art Bray made a glove save, and the puck floated up over the glass and out of play. Sumalides was defended there by Alex Johnson, just decided to rip one on goal from a pretty severe angle. A tougher save than it looks for a goaltender. Art Bray was able to make it look relatively easy. A 14:22 yet to play in the second. 2-1 Birmingham, your score. Artem Kurbatov dispossessed of it behind his net. Gets it as far as Piper on the recovery. And the Bulls will skate it out. Casey Kolzicki down the left wing. He dumps it into the adjacent corner. Kolzicki sustains a check from the other 13, Jimmy Soper. Urban gets it out to Cameron on his left. Cameron flings a saucer pass rink wide, bounces off the sideboards on the near side of the ice, and Soper drives to the net. Takes Art Bray out. He just sort of crashed the net, tried to create a scoring opportunity. He got into it a little bit with Casey Kolsicki after the fact, but no harm was done. No penalties called on either side. Here's Kolsicki, the late man, shooting from the slot, and a kick save is made by Entma with the right pad. Danny Perez flinging one out to neutral territory. It goes off the shoulder of Lane Valamont. Recovered now by Urban. Slaps it right up the middle. Redirects into the offensive zone. Caesar guns it down and centers a pass off the post. Loose puck there for Perez. Unfortunate bounce for the Mayhem. They just can't get it to go right now. Caesar near corner. Danny Caesar reverses it to the line. Jarrett Cups got it. He will shoot. It gets blocked. Trickles into the near corner. And the Bulls have gotten it out to center ice. Just abysmal puck luck for the Macon Mayhem in this game. J.M. Piotrowski above the right circle. Drops it off. Snapshot fought off by the blocker of Entma. Here come the Mayhem on a counterattack. Danny Caesar. Danny Perez on his right. They're across the line onside. Caesar rips a shot wide of the near post, and Jarrett Cup does his best to keep the attack going. He's in very low at the moment. The Bulls have escaped out to center ice. Shaquille Marasti will dump one in. Kevin Entma. Stefan Timofeyev behind his own net. Flutters one out into the neutral zone. Bounces away from Matt Fuller. Overskated by Pirog. He recovers it. Head fakes. Takes it wide. Near corner. The Mayhem captain with it on his stick. He slings it over. Here's Campbell floating a shot wide of the cage. Pirog slips it back in front. It's picked off and cleared. Campbell's going to gun it down now in his own zone. He gets to it quickly and whacks it back out into the neutral zone. A bit of a dangerous play as Timofeyev carried it all the way back in front of his own net and was caught up to from behind. Now here's Josh Harris. Harris near point. His pass went off the stick of Stephen Pirog, who's pretty low on energy at the end of a shift here. He's going to have to skate to the Macon bench. He signals his way there now. In the meantime, Jimmy Soper slams Alex Johnson into the half wall and draws a penalty. The Mayhem, for the first time tonight, will be going to the penalty kill. They're 0 for 4 on the power play. Birmingham, a perfect 14 of 14 in road penalty kills. And then they're going to try to extend their lead here on the man advantage. So boarding the call against Soper, who's got the lone Macon goal in this game. Caleb Cameron arguing the call a little bit, but he's not going to win that argument. And this Macon penalty kill will be brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. Birmingham to the power play for the first time tonight. Coming into this game, they've clicked at a 15.2% success rate. Cameron to take the face-off in the defensive zone, countered by Shane Toff, who bested him. Right point, Artem Kurbatov slides it down to Golka. His pass goes all the way through to the Valamont above the left circle. Had his shot gloved on the way through by Kevin Entma. Pretty decent screen set up in front of Entma, but he was able to track the shot from Valamont. And Valamont's a rookie in his first professional season, a Marion University graduate. Austin Doe winning the faceoff in the offensive zone. Lane Valamont with a skate-to-stick play at the left point. Golka's pass goes off a stick, bounces into the far corner, and Larry Smith has just cleared it all the way down. Racing after it is Sean Lynch. Gotten a lot of time on the penalty kill for the Mayhem. He's got as fresh of legs as anybody as he forces the issue in the offensive zone. Danny Caesar delivers a check against Cole Golka right in front of the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. In the meantime, it's played behind the Birmingham net by Artem Kurbatov, who will outlet it to his right. Golka slides it to Valamont down the left side, and his pass just his shot flutters off the blocker of Entma and out of play. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. 10:52 yet to go here in the second period. 2-1 the score in favor of Birmingham. There's been no scoring in this middle stanza thus far. Jimmy Soper serving a 2-minute boarding minor for the next minute and 14 seconds. This is the first Mayhem penalty kill of this game. They went 3 for 4 on the PK last night. Killed the last 3 in a row. won the defensive zone face-off. Jarrett Cupp turns course behind his own net. It's been rimmed around the boards. Matt Fuller slides it D-to-D. Or point-to-point, I should say. That's not a defenseman over there. That's Barber. Now it's twisted back up above the right circle. Slap pass, Fuller, left circle, fires. It's loose behind Etma. They score. Kevin Etma made the save, but the puck trickled through his equipment. I believe it was Barber tapping it home past the goal line. And Jacob Barber has just scored his 4th goal on the season, a power play strike. Although Matt Fuller is leading the celebration, so perhaps the goal will go to Fuller. It was tough to tell. He was certainly the one who took the initial blast from the left circle. Remember, folks, Matt Fuller leads the entire SPHL in goals by a defenseman. Coming into this game, he had 4. If this goal stands as his, he will have 5, which not only leads all defensemen in the league, it also leads his team. So they're announcing the goal as Matt Fuller's. And for the first time tonight, the Bulls have an insurance lead. It's 3-1 Birmingham. They're 1 for 1 on their power play. Stavros Soumalides pumps it to Stefan Timofeyev on the right wing. He will drop it. Steven Pirog, right circle, leaves it. Soumalides slides it back to the line. Jarrett Cupp tees it up and fires. Redirected off the inside of the elbow. Unbelievable. The Mayhem cannot catch a break. This has just been simply abysmal puck luck tonight for the Macon Mayhem. Timofeyev enters the Birmingham zone and fires from the slot. It's steered aside by Art Bray. Stefan Timofeyev, far half wall, drops it back to the right corner, and Steven Pirog will leave it. Timofeyev's got it again. Olsicki has just scrapped one out of the zone, and back to get it, Steven Pirog, who has to flutter one over to Ben Campbell before Harris was right in his face. Soper was stymied at the blue line by Barber. Here comes Harris dropping it. Barber's got it again. He returns it down to the goal line, and the one-timer was whiffed on. That's Cole Stallard, not Barber. And now Stallard is hit hard into the near corner. That's Josh Harris, I beg your pardon. Matt Fuller's back on it. Fuller into the slot. He twists with it. He tries to send it to his left for Jacob Barber. It's rimmed around the boards to the far half wall. Soper gives a hit, and the Mayhem are out to center. Marcus Ortiz sent the pass between the stick and the skates of Cameron, and the Mayhem are caught on an offside. 8:45 to go in the second period. 3-1 Birmingham, your score. We're going to take a pause for the cause on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We'll be back shortly.
You know our players are stars on the ice, but what about off the ice? Want an opportunity to hang out with the Mayhem and to get to know their personalities better? Come out to Line Change, a Mayhem talk show featuring head coach Leo Thomas, as well as 2 player guests. Now in its second season, Line Change runs from 6 to 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday night on the Creek stage at the Rookery at 543 Cherry Street in downtown Macon. You can get exclusive news on the team, ask any question you like to the players and the coach, and enjoy some delicious handcrafted Macon food in the process. Swing by the Rookery this Tuesday night at 6 p.m. We'd love to see you there.
Have just fallen behind by a pair of goals for the first time tonight. They really, again, have probably had the edge in play, but have just not been able to catch a break. Danny Perez hit the inside of the left post on a centering pass and what looked like a wide open net. He's going to be kicking himself probably for days after that one. And then Stefan Timofeyev redirected a point shot off the left elbow, the inside of the left elbow. It could not have been closer to going in. Just really awful puck luck tonight for the Macon Mayhem. Puck drops, Kuzno wins the neutral zone draw, and Zach Urban will hammer it in from center ice. It ricochets off the end wall, and Alex Johnson is ridden off the puck by Kuzno. Loose puck, Caesar with a backhand shot denied by Bray. It's still loose in the crease, and Bray will finally pounce on it with his glove and hang on to it. 8.5 to play in the second. 3-1 Birmingham, your score. They've got contributions on the score sheet from Alex Johnson, Mike Davis, and Matt Fuller. Will take another face-off. He's been excellent in the draws this evening and will get another opportunity in the offensive zone. The Mayhem were in this situation yesterday. They were trailing by a pair of goals in the second period. Just continued to chip away at the deficit until they ran out of time. Lane Valamont gets it up to Shane Topp, who will rim one around the end wall counterclockwise. Entma slowed it down but couldn't bring it to a complete stop. And Caesar could get a breakaway here. He was held up a bit, no penalties. Caesar chasing down the loose puck, had it swatted off his stick. Good back check there by Karel Drahorid, and Caesar from the near half wall will just send it down. Perez has it in the near corner. He leaves it. Cousineau's got it, skates up the boards and drops it back in below the goal line. Caesar has it squeaked by him. Danny Perez shifts, tries a wrap around, and Art Bray's got it. But the Mayhem just trying everything they can. They have gone for rebounds, they've gone for deflections, they've attempted centering passes, they've attempted wraparounds, they've attempted stuff shots, really anything you can think of to try to really get inside of Art Bray's head. He's been rock solid in net for Birmingham, but they have just got to solve him. They've got to start converting on some of these chances. The captains converge in the face-off circle. Long blast by Ryan Devine is kicked away by Art Bray. And here's Jacob Barber, left wing side. Barber does a nice toe drag, cuts to the net, and fires. Entma made the save. And Cole Stallard sends it around the wall. Nobody was there except for Cup, who has outletted it ahead to Stathosumilidis. He will return it to his fellow veteran, and Cup will slide it to his right for Ryan Devine. Devine floats one up ice. Good idea, trying to get one to Sumilidis, but it was picked off by Kurbitov. Up in front of the Birmingham bench now. Backhands it to Jimmy Soper, fresh off a line change. That's going to be too many men on the ice, called against Macon. The Mayhem furious because there were only 5 men on the ice, and that's a missed call from Jason Lordy, folks, plain and simple. I counted the second that the puck hit. Jimmy Soper actually took an extra second. Showed he was clearly at least cognizant of what was going on. He waited an extra second. He was being very smart about it. And there were clearly only 5 skaters on the ice. And the puck just happened to hit Steven Pirog, which is not doing the Mayhem any favors. But the players are incredulous. And that is a blown call by Jason Lordy. The Bulls are going to a power play here. The Mayhem realized they just converted on a power play earlier in this period and trying to get themselves back into this game. This call does not help them. So Marcus Ortiz will skate into the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box and serve the penalty. And the Mayhem are just going to have to hunker down for the next 2 minutes and defend. Ben Campbell fighting for it in the near corner of the Macon zone. Puck squirts out to Fuller, who cuts in, slides it over. Right circle, back to Fuller again at the goal line on the far side. Fuller switches places with Josh Harris and feeds him the pass. The Birmingham captain will wind up in the slot. Fuller with a long shot, rather Harris. It was deflected, stopped by Entma. It skitters in behind the net. And now it's Jimmy Soper with it. Soper just found the soft little area to clear it through, gets it all the way down the ice, and we've got something breaking out now. It doesn't look like it'll be a fight. Based on the reaction of the crowd, I thought there might be one. It'll just be a penalty called against Birmingham. Mike Davis might have shoved somebody from behind on the way back to the bench. Well, it's actually just going to be a tripping call made by Jason Lordy, so that's a successful penalty kill by Macon. It only lasted 39 seconds. We're now on the 4-on-4. So Davis to the box for tripping, and we're back at even strength. Steven Pirog to take the draw against Cannon Piper. Puck drops. Pirog wins the faceoff. It's secured at the blue line by Ryan Devine from the right point. Strides in above the right circle and takes a few steps back. Devine with his head up, looks to make a play as he surveys and delivers it into the adjacent corner. Danny Perez has it. Perez will slip it back towards Cup. It escapes his reach, and Devine will reset in the neutral zone. He feeds Cup the pass. Curry College product will return it to Ryan Devine and across the Birmingham blue line. Devine with a nice toe drag and a shot, grazes the outside of the left post. Puck's played by Pirog. Pirog twisting and turning behind the Birmingham net, sets up Perez, who leaves it off Cup, scores! Jarrett Cup with a 4-on-4 goal. He was one of the players to watch tonight, and he just ripped it right through the equipment of Art Bray and has brought his team back to within one. Jarrett Cup with his second goal of the season, both of which have come against Birmingham, has reinculcated some life in this arena. We're still going to be on the 4-on-4 for the next 40 seconds, after which the Mayhem will get an abbreviated power play. 5:55 to go in the second period. Still tons of time left in this game. Matt Fuller turns away from the forechecking Danny Caesar and gets some space. Fuller from his own blue line delivers it to his right, and Cole Golka will enter the Macon zone. He's checked into the half wall by Oleg Kalaman. Long stretch pass right behind Danny Caesar. Played aside by Fuller. Bounces into the right corner. Caesar twists it in front. Goes off a skate. Bounces back into Birmingham territory. And they're going to enter the Macon zone offside as the whistle called against the Bulls. So the Mayhem will get a 40-second power play in 9 seconds. Marcus Ortiz currently standing in the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. There's going to be a face-off in the Macon zone, I believe to the right of Kevin Etma in the left circle. Perhaps it'll be a neutral zone draw. That will be the case. Neutral zone face-off. So right, it was an offside, which led to this neutral zone face-off. And now Lane Valamont has it as he will skate back into his own zone and fling one to his left for Alex Johnson. Johnson rattles it around the end boards. And now Casey Kolzicki dispossessed of it. Zach Urban twists. Urban from his own goal line. The Mayhem on a 40-second long Wild Wing Cafe power play. They're 0 for 4 tonight. Stefan Timofeyev trying to dance into the zone. He lost it to the stick of Casey Kolzicki, and Harris will eat up what's left of this clock behind his own net and feed it to his left for Alex Johnson. The Bulls are on side here as Shaquille Marasti stick handles. Will feed it off the half wall on the near side. Bounces to Johnson, whose shot is picked off by Urban. Long stretch pass finds Sumalitis. Trickles through his stick. Sumalitis catches back up to it, but is dispossessed by Lane Valamont, who puts it behind his own net, and the Bulls have just cleared it on target from 200 feet. Both teams returning to full strength. We've got 4:22 yet to be played in the second period. Jarrett Cup moments ago bringing his team back to within a goal. Larry Smith up to Ortiz. Redirects it in front of the Macon bench. Gets back on it. Guns it down in the far corner. Ortiz goes in behind the net now and tries to turn the corner and get a shot off, but he was surrounded by white sweaters. It's just been hammered around the boards, and a penalty is going to be called against Macon. Holding the call. I saw holding and high sticking signaled by Jason Lordy, but it's going to be Marcus Ortiz skating to the Beyond Taboo Tattoo penalty box. And it'll be Macon's third penalty kill of the night. They're 1 for 2. 4 minutes remaining in the second period. The Bulls with a 3-2 advantage over the Mayhem. They've received scores from Alex Johnson, Mike Davis, and Matt Fuller. 2 of Birmingham's 3 goals have come from defensemen. The fans now applauding the Blues Painting and Home Repair hero of tonight's game. One of Macon's goals coming from a defenseman as well. So actually 3 out of the 5 goals tonight have been scored by Blue Liners. They have not been afraid to jump into the play and make things happen. It was one of the keys of tonight's game was cracking down on point shots. The Bulls love to get Matt Fuller and Karel Drahorad, Alex Johnson, and others involved in the attack. Shaquille Marasti, far side, will drop it back. Barber drives into the circle and fires. It gets blocked by Ben Campbell's skates. Barber gets right back on it. He will rattle it back to the line. Matt Fuller steps into the deep slot with it. Feeds it back. Barber's got it. Barber sends it into the bottom of the far circle. It's picked off, but failing to clear it was Campbell. Now Fuller wheels down in behind the net with it. Smooth skating defenseman will keep it in the zone as he flings it back to the point. One-timer gets blocked, and Cameron scoops up the loose puck. He will rim one around. Excellent keep, Mike Davis, right point. Skitters it down to Barber. His pass didn't work out. Davis keeps it in the zone. Fuller above the left circle, tees it up. Slap passes one over towards Barber, never reached him, and Harris will just have to take over in neutral territory. His pass is picked off. Short-handed rush by Soper. He takes it wide, cuts to the net, stick checked by Art Bray, and he will hold on to the loose puck. Uncharacteristic turnover by Josh Harris in the neutral zone. He was just trying to flutter one past the stick of Jimmy Soper, but Soper, a very good forechecker, has improved in many ways this season, not the least of which is his ability to drive plays and generate scoring opportunities. He's transitioned from center to wing, and it seems to suit his style a little bit more. And just then, he nearly tucked home his second goal of the night. The Mayhem already nearly halfway through this penalty kill. They're 1 for 2 on the night thus far. False start on the face-off. They're going to try again. This Mayhem penalty kill is brought to you by J&J's Heating and Air Conditioning. Josh Kuzno to take the draw in the offensive zone in the left circle. Wins it back to the line. Devine with a shot right on. Stopped by Art Bray and left off behind his net. Lane Valamont will reverse it, and Artem Kurbatov has it. Kurbatov begins the breakout as he delivers it up the wall to his right, and it's going to be skated into the offensive zone by Shane Toff. Jarrett Cup from behind his own net will backhand a pass right to Kuzno. He has bounced one out of the zone beyond the stick of Kurbatov all the way down. Artem Kurbatov will scoop it up now below his own goal line and reverse one to Cole Golka. Golka strides out to the red line, gains the Macon zone, and his pass go off the skates of Pirog. Pirog will send Sumalidas ahead. Sumalidas will just flutter the puck into the right corner of the Birmingham zone. Looks like the Mayhem will have killed off their second of 3 penalty kills tonight. The Bulls have just about run out of time. One last shot attempt here comes from Johnson. It gets blocked by the stick of Devine. Devine finishes his check into the corner wall. And Marcus Ortiz let out of the penalty box, receives the breakout pass. He's got a man trailing in Sumalidas. Ortiz to the goal, to the backhand, and he fired it wide of the net. Into the far corner it goes. Sumalidas is on it. Leaves it for Ortiz. Marcus Ortiz, far half wall, delivers it in behind the net. And now it's going to be Cole Stallard skating it out of harm's way for Birmingham. When Marcus Ortiz, not sure he knew it, but Stather Sumalidas was wide open right behind him. He was tapping his stick calling for it, but Ortiz, never a bad play to just shoot the puck, especially from that situation. And you never know, oftentimes you'll see back checkers from the opposing team tapping their sticks to fool the puck carrier into passing to the opposite team. It's even happened at the NHL level a few times. Caleb Cameron forces a turnover. He's got Timofeyev in front of the net, but he wipes out and loses the puck, and Valamont fails to clear it, courtesy of Soper. Fuller is, however, able to get it out, and in comes Pietrowski across the Macon line. His shot is gloved by Entma. He will hang on to it. 48 seconds to go in the second period. 3-2 the score in favor of the visiting Birmingham Bulls. In the meantime, the Mayhem have improved to 2 for 3 on the night on the J&J's Heating and Air penalty kill. A.M. Pietrowski taking that last shot for Birmingham from the Chicago suburbs. A Yale grad. Had a goal in his first 2 games this season. A 2-point night against the Mayhem during the preseason tilt out in Pelham, Alabama. Caesar will drop it. Ben Campbell's got it. Slides it to Larry Smith. He punches one ahead. It goes off the linesman. Flutters in behind the Macon cage. Kevin Entma will steer one to Ben Campbell, Nichols College graduate. Good give and go play between Danny's Perez and Caesar, the former of whom has it into the offensive zone, but his shot got blocked by Lane Valamont. Larry Smith will go back to get it near the Crazy Bull dasher board, and Perez has it go off of his backhand. A long shot gets redirected loosely by Morasti, just missed the far post. Morasti wheels up to the point and fires. Entma tracked it all the way and made the glove stop. 3 seconds to go in the period. If something miraculous does not happen in that span, the Mayhem will enter the closing stanza in the exact same dilemma in which they entered this period. Down by a goal. Through the first 40 minutes, I would certainly say they've been the better team. They have not had puck luck on their side. Posts have not been friendly to them, nor has the crossbar throughout this game. But the show must go on, and the Mayhem must endure. They've got to find it within themselves to strike again in period 3. They've done it in both periods so far in this game. Each team striking once in the middle 20 minutes. Birmingham with a 3-2 advantage heading into the second intermission. We hope you enjoyed that second period of Mayhem hockey, folks. They scored in the later stages following a loose puck scrap in the crease. Jarrett Cupp just twisting it through the equipment of Art Bray and getting his second goal of the season, both of which have come against Birmingham. 20 minutes remain. The Mayhem must score at least once if they are to salvage some points out of this weekend tilt. Thanks so much for joining us, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Alex Von Coda, the voice of your Mayhem, hoping you're having a lovely Saturday night. Those of you tuned in on SPHL Live, from what I've heard, it's been a much smoother stream tonight. So, again, we apologize for the issues yesterday. Does not look like they'll be happening again anytime soon. So we'd like to thank you for sticking with us, and thank you for your understanding. This crowd has really filled out quite a bit since the beginning of the game. We knew that there'd be some stragglers into the arena tonight due to the Georgia-Auburn game, among some other reasons. The earlier puck drop is still, I think, kind of taking its toll on a few folks who are getting used to the schedule change from last season, in which every game started at 7:30. But crowd has gotten a lot better as the game has progressed, so hopefully the Mayhem can reward them here on Cancer Awareness Night with a strong third period showing. So far this season, third periods for the Mayhem have been pretty solid. Their best goal differential actually on the campaign has come in the third period. So we'll see if that trend continues in the closing 20 minutes. In the meantime, folks, we're going to step aside here on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. Again, we hope you've enjoyed the game up till this point. When we come back, we'll take another look around the SPHL and break down this game for you in greater detail. Until then, keep it right here. You're listening to Macon Mayhem Hockey on the Mayhem Broadcast Network.
Good news, Mayhem fans. The group outing package you know and love is back for the 2019-20 season. If you bring a group of 10 or more people, you receive discounted tickets at $13 a piece, reserved seating, free hats, t-shirts, or pucks for each member of your group, and an experience upgrade of your choosing. Set upgrades include the High Five Tunnel, Bench Buddies, a picture on the ice after the game, and much more. Just be sure to call our office at 478-803-1592 in advance, and we'll get you all squared away. You know our players are stars on the ice, but what about off the ice? Want an opportunity to hang out with the Mayhem and to get to know their personalities better? Come out to Line Change, a Mayhem talk show featuring head coach Leo Thomas, as well as 2 player guests. Now in its second season, Line Change runs from 6 to 6:30 p.m. every Tuesday night on the Creek stage at the Rookery at 543 Cherry Street in downtown Macon. You can get exclusive news on the team, ask any question you like to the players and the coach, and enjoy some delicious handcrafted Macon food in the process. Swing by the Rookery this Tuesday night at 6 p.m. We'd love to see you there. Are you looking to raise some money for a cause and have a blast while doing it? The Mayhem would be happy to help you out through our fundraiser program, available for all home games throughout the season. You buy tickets from us for $10 each, you sell them for $15, and you keep the remaining $5 per ticket sold for whichever cause your heart desires. If you were to sell 50 tickets, for example, you would collect $250 for your fundraiser. Call our office at 478-803-1592 for more information. The beloved Family 4-Pack is back. The Mayhem are offering this incredibly affordable package for several games throughout the season. For just $50, you receive 4 tickets and a $30 gift card to Texas Roadhouse at 5080 Riverside Drive right here in Macon. The dates for these 4-pack nights will be announced on social media as they become finalized, so be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube for all the most up-to-date content. Trying to plan out a night of fun for an upcoming birthday? Why not spend it right here with the Mayhem? The Tommy's Bakery and Cafe Birthday Suite is available right here at the Macon Centreplex for all home games during the 2019-20 season. The birthday suite comes chock full of benefits, including 12 tickets, a private suite area with a great view of the ice, donuts from Tommy's Bakery, a visit from Mac the Mascot, and a special present for the birthday child. All of this for just $250, with additional tickets available for $12 each. Visit MaconMayhem.com or call our office.
.9 The Creek. That was Shovels and Rope with Coping Mechanism. That they will be at the Hargrave Capitol Theater on Valentine's Day. Get your tickets for that now if there are tickets still left. That you heard from was the fantastic Mr. Alex Von Coitos. Alex Von Coito, the voice. Alex Von Coito, the voice. Alex Von Coito, the voice. Alex Von Coito. It's my favorite part at the end there. What's going on, Alex?
How we doing?
You know, we're doing all right, man. All right, let's just recap this past weekend very quickly. 2 games against Peoria.
Yep.
We came up winless in both. Talk to me about kind of what the field was like, what we played like this weekend.
Well, that's a great team over there, obviously. They're actually the only undefeated team left in North American pro hockey.
Wow.
So we knew we had our work cut out for us this weekend,
Yeah.
especially. You know, we just went up there last weekend, and they beat us back-to-back games. So the guys played a much better, 60 minutes, I thought, this weekend in both games than they did last weekend. And they had some really good dominant stretches. But Peoria, they know how to win. They find ways every time. You know, that coach there that they have he's the all-time winningest head coach in their franchise's history. And they've been around a long time.
It just seems like from everything we've been talking about on and off the air, it just seems like with the goalie that they have being the descendant of one of the greatest of all time, and the coaching staff they have, they're just a well-run organization.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that we hate them, Ashley Doolin, who is not here, she should be in Mexico or headed to Mexico right now, sent me some messages of some things that she wanted me to talk about. I told you, Alex, I can't say them on the air because they have carnal language in it, and just know she does not like Peoria. But apparently she does love Timofeyev, and I swear I got his name wrong. Timofeyev. See, I knew I got it wrong. Timofeyev. That's her new favorite now, apparently, because there was a bit of a brawl Friday night.
Yeah.
And you were there, so kind of.
So Timofeyev he was going after a loose puck in the corner, and he sort of had his stick slashed out of his hands and got shoved from behind into the boards. And we were already on the power play, so I think the referee just decided to keep his arm down and let that one go, which, questionable, but it's his prerogative.
Yeah.
And then a few seconds later, Timofeyev, he's kind of fighting for a loose puck in the crease, and I guess he was already rattled, right, because the penalty wasn't called, so he's
true.
a little hot-headed.
Yeah, he hot about that.
Yep, and then Peoria's goaltender, Erik Levine, kind of shoved him because he was too close to his net, and he just, he gave him a blocker sandwich, basically, right to the face, and Timofeyev obviously wasn't happy about that, combined with how he was already frustrated.
Yeah, about the call.
Yeah, so they just started going at it. I think Timofeyev, started just throwing haymakers at the goalie's face, ripped his helmet off, ripped his jersey off. Nobody got suspended. Neither of those two got suspended. At least.
Well, that's good.
Amazing, yeah.
At least Timofeyev got some revenge back in. For a second
it wasn't surprising to me that Tony wanted to meet with him the next time he's here.
Of course he does.
For a little kid, not a little kid. I'm sorry, a shorter,
player,
5'8". Yeah. He's tough. He packs a punch.
He got some fight in him. Well, that's good to know. We had that. Sad that we lost the games to Peoria, but it's good to know there's a lot of fight in this team. Now let's move past that and move on to this. We've got 2 games back at home again this weekend. Let's break them down. First off, we've got Friday night, 7:30. It's the first night for the family 4-pack. So talk about that, Alex.
Yeah, we're very excited about the family 4-pack this season. We're probably going to do one per month. Okay. It's looking like the dates for all of them will be announced later, but the first one is going to be this Friday, November 15th. For just $50, so it's $4 cheaper than last season. You get 4 tickets, and you get a $30 gift card at Texas Roadhouse.
So you can have all the rolls and the peanuts that you want.
That's right.
Beautiful. Like I said, that's literally talking. That is a ridiculous price to get the entire family out there. So $50 for that. Now they need to get that at least by 24 hours in advance, correct?
Yes, yeah. So just call our office, 478-803-1592. That's the best way. We'll get you all squared away that way.
Okay, and then the second part of this night is it is Tighty Whitey night. Now I've been this promotion has scared me because we need the people to know unopened underwear still in the package. Go to Walmart, buy it, keep the receipt in the bag. Don't even touch the bag once you buy it from Walmart. Then just bring it down to the game, and then at some point during the game, we're going to throw all these things onto the ice, apparently.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And the products are going to get donated to local charities.
Yes.
So with that in mind, we want to make sure that they're very clean.
Yes.
Unused. Ideally.
Ideally, not even ideally. No, required.
Yeah, requested.
Yeah, just call it right there. It is only unused
underwear and socks.
But then like socks and scarves and gloves and things like that, just so people can keep warm during the holidays and during this winter season, because we do not want people cold and things like that. So that is Friday night. That game is at 7:30 versus Knoxville.
Yes, sir.
And then on Saturday is Cancer Awareness Night versus Birmingham.
Yeah.
Starting at 7 p.m. So, like I said, always 30 minutes earlier on the Saturday night games for that. You can get all of this information and tickets and things of that nature at MaconMayhem.com. Make sure when you go to these games, say hi to Alex. Leave Alex alone. He's got a lot of things to do. He's thinking about things. He's trying to process, get a feel of the game or the match, whatever. Leave him alone. Say hi. Wave to him. Say, yeah, I heard you on the creek. You do a great job. Tell him that you like his intro music, because I like it. You should like it as well.
It grew on you. You didn't like it at first.
You know what? I didn't. It took me a second for us, but then once it gets into your system, Alex, it's just there.
Right.
Then let's make sure we talk about this as well. Line change tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
The Leo Thomas Culture Show right on the creek stage, right below our feet there. Come on out. Do we know? Does he kind of decide later on what players he's bringing in or what y'all are bringing in?
I usually decide Monday afternoons.
Okay.
I think I'm probably actually going to go for Timofeyev.
Yeah, probably be a good one.
A lot to talk about.
Probably be a good one.
Yeah, and then Danny Caesar, he had a good weekend for us. He scored a goal both games.
But either way, you're going to have Macon Mayhem players there. You're going to have Alex there. You're going to have Coach Leo Thomas there. Come up, say hi, get your autographs, get your pictures for your Instagram. So check that out. Alex, it is always great to have you here.
Absolutely.
Always good to see you. We will see you next Monday. And as always, because I like it now. Like, it's there. Like it is. I wasn't really big into the EDMs.
Right.
But then, this is, it's got me. Plus, I'm like all over. This is the Tedeschi Trucks Band Midnight in Harlem. We'll be back.
Going to get started now. As always, thanks so much here for our 4th episode of Season 2 of Line Change with Coach Thomas. I know there's a lot going on. It's freezing cold outside, and there's a Booster Club meeting and everything like that, so we really appreciate you being here. First thing I want to do is introduce our player guests tonight. We've got Stefan Timofeyev and Danny Caesar. Let's hear a round of applause for these two guys. Both of them had a very good weekend, I'd say, in very different ways against the Peoria Rivermen, and we'll talk about all that pretty soon. First thing I'm going to do is ask Coach Thomas a few questions, and then we'll ask these two gentlemen a few questions as well. And then for my favorite part of the show, we're going to open the floor up for discussion. You guys can ask any question your heart desires, so go ahead and start brainstorming, whatever you want to ask these three gentlemen up here. And then we're going to wrap the show up by sort of previewing the upcoming weekend we have coming up on Friday and Saturday night. So, Coach, we're done with Peoria now, finally, at least until January. 4 straight games against those guys. That's a Herculean task for any team in this league to face. How much of a learning experience is it to go through a series like that so early on into the season?
Yeah, I think it's a good thing it's happening this earlier in the season than compared to last year. I think it's good for younger guys like Timo and some other guys that in our league to kind of play that team and kind of see what it takes to beat one of the top teams in our league and what it takes to win in this league in general. So it wasn't the results obviously we wanted, but I did definitely see a lot of positive stuff. We showed we can compete with those guys, and you just can't take periods off, or even if you take 10 minutes off in a game against those guys, it can make you, it can make it real difficult on you. And like I said, hopefully for the young guys and for our whole team in general, we learn from it.
That's how it felt. Really, all weekend there were just surges of momentum, extreme surges of momentum in both teams' favor at times. How did you think the team responded on Saturday to a record-setting game in the penalty minutes department on Friday night?
I thought it was perfect. I mean,
Yeah.
we shot them 20-4, I think, or something like that. And
First period.
we were hungry. We showed the kind of team we were capable of, and back to taking off a period or so. But we had a great first, and then came back in the second, and I think we had three hits that period, which, I mean, we had 16 in the first, and then we come back and we have 3 in the second. So it's all about continuing that pace and that energy that we showed in the first, and we would have been fine.
Danny, I want to ask the next question I have to you. You had a really big weekend on the score sheet. You got your first goal of the season, got another one on Saturday night, and you drove a lot of scoring opportunities as well. Do you feel that things starting to click better now that the season's a few weeks old?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, we got a lot of guys gelling together. We're doing a lot of line stuff in practice, just trying to get a feel for each other and how the offense is going to go this season. So for me, being a player in this league that's always put up points, it was kind of rough the first 2 weeks. I went through a little bit of adversity, and I felt like instead of trying to be more offensive, I'd just sit back and play more of a defensive game to try and help the team out. Going into that Peoria weekend at home, I felt a million times better mentally and physically, and I had a lot more energy. I was excited. I was ready to help the team on offense again, and I felt like I created a lot of opportunity to help the team do that. We finally scored a goal on those guys, so it felt pretty good. But honestly, whether I score another goal the rest of the year or not, all I really care about is the points that get us ahead in the standings. So I just really hope we start making a run here and move ourselves up the chain.
Definitely.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Sorry for that pretty long delay. Had some loose ends to tie up, but we're just about ready to go here for the rest of the game here. We've got about 2 minutes remaining in the second intermission. The Mayhem trailing by a 3-2 score at the hands of the Birmingham Bulls. Let's talk about how we got here. It started with a bang for the Mayhem. They were in the offensive zone, surging left and right. They really had the better of Birmingham in the first few minutes. First few shifts were really dominant for Macon, but Birmingham was the team which struck first. Alex Johnson, 7-17 in. Cole Golka, J.M. Pietrowski on the assists, and Alex Johnson scoring his first goal of the season, just kind of stepping out from the right corner with the puck on his stick, sneaking one inside the left post, low blocker side to beat Kevin Etma. That would be Birmingham's first goal of the night. It was answered just 2 minutes and 11 seconds later when Jimmy Stoper cleaned up a rebound that Art Bray coughed up in the crease. He had a hard time gloving the powerful wrist shot from Marcus Ortiz, who ripped one from the left circle. Art Bray flashed the leather, made a glove stop, but the rebound lay loose right above the blue paint, and Jimmy Stoper, crashing the net, just shoveled a backhand shot past Bray to tie the game back up. The Mayhem have not led yet in this game. Josh Harris, 14:42 in period 1, had an unsuccessful penalty shot. He was denied by Kevin Etma with the stick. Excellent save, but just 2 minutes later, 2.5 minutes later, Mike Davis earned a breakaway. He stole the puck after sort of blocking a point shot from Ben Campbell, and he just jolted down the ice with a full head of steam from the left side, deked from his left to his right to the backhand, and buried his shot inside the right post, past Kevin Etma's glove, to regain Birmingham's lead. That was the lead they had going into the first intermission. Then Matt Fuller built on that advantage, gave Birmingham its first and only insurance lead of the tilt. 9:27 in on a power play, ripped a slap shot from the left circle. It squeaked through the equipment of Etma and into the back of the net. It looked as though perhaps Jacob Barber tapped it home past the goal line, but the goal ended up going to Matt Fuller, his team leading 5th of the season as a defenseman. And then Jarrett Cupp answered, another defenseman. Both goals scored in period 2 came from blue liners. Cupp responding, giving the Mayhem some life here heading into period 3. 3-2 the score in favor of the Birmingham Bulls. quick out-of-town scoreboard update real fast while we've got just a second. Fayetteville beat Roanoke. 4-3 was the final. Huntsville trailing 1-0 in Huntsville tonight at the hands of the Knoxville Ice Bears early in period 2. Pensacola Quad City tied at a goal apiece. And the Peoria Rivermen up 3-1 over the Evansville Thunderbolts. That out-of-town scoreboard update has been brought to you by Hampton Inn and Suites. In the meantime, we're back underway here in Macon as a slap shot from the slot redirects wide and into the far corner of the Macon zone as it trickles up the boards on the far side of the ice. Past Sumalides' stick. Here comes Pirog entering the Birmingham zone. Sends a pass over. It's gloved out of midair. And a hand pass is going to be called against Macon. It'll go against Stefan Timofeyev. The pass from Pirog just kind of floated in the air, and I don't think Timofeyev really meant to do a hand pass there. It was just sort of like a reaction from his part, just sort of whacking the puck out of midair, just out of instinct. But hand pass is called against the Mayhem, and there will be a neutral zone face-off in front of the All-State bonding penalty box to follow. 29 seconds have expired here in period 3. The puck drops. Cameron wins the draw. Ben Campbell steps over the Birmingham line and fires a wrister that sails over the net and off the backboards. And now it's Marcus Ortiz delivering a check into the far corner boards on Artem Kurbatov, and the puck squeaks back down into that far corner. Ortiz goes fighting for it. Kurbatov beats him to it. Right point, it's Campbell. Nice head fake. Campbell tees it up, right circle, blasts it wide of the net. And he is not happy with himself. Ben Campbell really just sort of, you can see him kicking himself on the way back. He made an excellent move to get around Shaquille Marasti. Forced him to lose an edge and everything. Gained a ton of space near the right circle and couldn't even get his shot on net. You can understand his frustration. Caleb Cameron had the puck swatted off his stick. Back out to the red line. Ryan Devine has it. Jarrett Cup. His pass caught Danny Perez by surprise. He was not prepared for it. The Mayhem get a chance here. Perez, left side, centers it, tipped over the crossbar by a Birmingham defenseman. And that was Davis, rather, on the back check. Dangerous situation there. He was just trying to get his stick in the passing lane, and he ended up nearly tipping it into his own net. Danny Perez fighting for it in the far corner of the Birmingham end. On the left side of your screen on SPHL Live. Josh Kuzno twists it back. Perez, far circle, turns it on net, goes just wide of the right post. Kuzno attempts a wraparound, a couple of stuff attempts from the crease, all denied by Art Bray. And he draws a whistle from Jason Lordy and a stoppage in play. We're 1 minute and 54 seconds into the third period. Without a third period strike thus far, the Mayhem trailing by a 1-goal margin. 3-2 the score in favor of Birmingham. They will get an offensive zone face-off to Art Bray's left. While we're on the subject with the John Cena music playing, I'd like to invite you all tuned in to our WWE night at the end of the month, just after Thanksgiving on November 30th. The Mayhem will host the Pensacola Ice Flyers for the first time this season after playing them on the road on Wednesday, on Thanksgiving Eve. Nice move. Timofeyev centers it over, bounces back to the line, Cup with a wrister. It's blocked out in front by the maze of bodies standing in front of Art Bray. Puck ricochets into the near corner. Valamont takes a check from Sumalides. Puck floats back up to the point, and Pirog will send it back down the boards where it's picked off by Josh Harris. He will float one in from center ice, punched aside by Entma, recovered by Harris, delivered behind the net. And another big check, this time brought on by Ryan Devine on Cole Stallard. Stallard puts it in behind the Macon net. Barber is hung up. Whacked up to Sumalides, whose attempted clear is blocked by Barber. His long shot is sticked away by Entma. And that's a Blues Painting and Home Repair flying puck that has just gone into the bottom of section 125. Evan Entma has been pretty busy. 24 of a possible 27 saves in goal. His counterpart tonight, Art Bray, equally busy. Though he's made 2 extra saves. He is 26 of 28. Puck scrap following the Macon zone face-off, and the hand of Shaquille Marasti just clearly covering that puck. I'm not sure why the whistle didn't blow. That was clearly a case of Shaquille Marasti closing his hand on the loose puck. That's behind the Macon net right now. That should have instigated a whistle, and it did not. Instead, they play on. The 4-player scrap continues, and behind the net, Morasti just trying to kill out as much time as he can. Finally, it's been whipped around to the left point. Alex Johnson holds the line and fires. Ricochets high in the air, bounces off the near corner glass, twisted back through the slot off the far half wall. It bounces, and Kalaman will just deliver it up the adjacent side. Fired back into Macon territory. Urban's quick outlet finds Sean Lynch, and he will spring one along for Jimmy Soper. Offside. Kalaman just a step too far in front of the play. 16:26 to go in the third period. 3-2 the score in favor of the visiting Birmingham Bulls. The Mayhem have not yet led in this game. The last offside whistle was brought on because of a premature jump there by Oleg Kalaman. Kalaman won a national karting championship back in Russia a few years ago. Played in the VHL, Russians #2 league behind the KHL. Almost sort of serves as a feeder league there. Karel Drahorod will dump it into the left corner of the Macon zone. Larry Smith takes a bit of a spill. Gets back onto his skates, but it was too late as a centering pass was denied by Kevin Etma. Point blank opportunity for Piper. It was Birmingham's best chance of the period so far. Cannon Piper, the only Bull to score the last time Birmingham was in this building back on October 26th. He will line up to take an offensive zone faceoff against Josh Kuzno, who's won another one. He's been great in the faceoff dot this evening. Danny Caesar banks one ahead. Racing after it is Danny Perez. He's going to win the foot race and nullify an icing call. But the Bulls have quickly worked the puck out of their own zone. Karel Drahorod up to the red line. Slips one across the ice, and it's Shane Topf on the left wing. He puts it in front for Davis, who hacks it wide of the left peg. Now it's Danny Perez scooping it up. The University of Maine product will feed Josh Kuzino. 6-year SPHL veteran, rattles one around the boards clockwise into Birmingham territory. Delivered back in behind the goal line for Lane Valamont, who makes the breakout for Birmingham. His pass goes off a leg. Perez twists one back up the neutral zone, and Steven Pirog was met by Alex Johnson, who's got it now. He gets the return quickly from Valamont. Alex Johnson, who opened the scoring this evening, dumps it into the Macon zone. Rattles around the boards, and Kevin Etma will just try to reverse it back up the half wall. He then has to fight off a severe angle shot from Barber after it was intercepted. Devine whacks at it. Timofeyev waiting for it, will spring one along. Soumalides has got some help. Gives it to Pirog, bottom of the left circle, sends it over. It's redirected wide by Soper, who's held up. Pirog then trying to dance through several bodies. He loses the puck to the stick of Josh Harris, who will commence the Birmingham counterattack. Harris loses the puck in the mid-slot. He's then tripped up by Devine, no penalty. Harris loses it to Devine a second time, and now the ex-Pensacola Ice Flyer will settle things down deep in his own zone. He fakes and sends it over to his D partner, Jarrett Cupp. Cupp's pass goes off a Birmingham stick. Rattled off the boards beyond Ortiz, out in front of the Macon bench. Cupp to Kalaman. Kalaman up to Soper. He floats one off the back of Fuller. Lands in the deep Birmingham slot. Steered aside, back out into neutral territory. Cameron will give it on back to his fellow Macon veteran, Zach Urban. Urban to Oleg Kalaman. His pass deflects off the stick of Shaquille Morasti. He's the only Shaquille in the history of the SPHL. He's caught on an offside play and a whistle-stopping play. I mean, it's possible he's the only Shaquille in the history of hockey. Not a very common first name that you see very often. Neither is Karel. Birmingham with a few, or Cannon. Few players whose first names you don't see very often, or Art for that matter. Their goaltender, Art Bray, with 2 T's in it. I'm not sure I've ever seen that either. Shaquille Morasti has fought in both games this season in which he has faced Macon. He fought against Stathis Soumalides back on October 26th. And he also fought against Ryan Devine earlier in this game. Devine probably got the better of him. I'd say he's 1 for 2 in fighting at the Macon Centreplex this season. The clear-cut leader on Birmingham's squad in penalty minutes now by a long shot. Now in the top 5 in the SPHL. He's just hit north of 20 with tonight's game. J.M. Piotrowski pursuing a loose puck in the left corner of the Macon zone. He will deliver it in behind the net. It pinballs around down there. Entma had difficulty locating it. but he was able to spot it and bring on a whistle. 6 minutes and 8 seconds have expired here in the closing period. Mayhem still trailing by a goal. Shots fairly even. They have been for the bulk of the night. Mayhem just have not really been able to find that elusive lead this evening. They've been tied for a good chunk of time, but Birmingham has really always had a response. Larry Smith rattles it around the boards, and Danny Perez accelerates it further. Caesar delivers a pretty good-sized check on Karel Jahorid, and Barber had it swiped off his blade by Ben Campbell. Caesar recovers it. Danny Caesar's pass broken up by Barber. He will skate it down wide on the left side. He centers it. Point-blank shot by Cole Staller, denied by the glove of Entma. Nice save. Keeps his team within a goal here. That is a crucial save by Kevin Entma. Remember that one, folks. He's made a couple this period. He denied Cannon Piper from really inside of the crease on a centering pass from earlier in this game, earlier in this period. 13 and a half to play in the third. 3-2 Birmingham, your score. The puck will drop to the right of Kevin Entma. Kuzno wins another draw. Entma whacks it off the far corner boards. Long point shot whistles wide of the net. Good block by Larry Smith to prevent a centering attempt. Puck rattles its way to the far half wall. Huge hit thrown by Caesar. That time it was on Alex Johnson. Four-player scrum that's equally divided takes place in the far corner of the Macon zone. One of Birmingham's skaters losing his helmet. He'll now skate back to the Bulls bench. That was Mike Davis who lost his helmet. Long point shot by Kurbatov is off the mark. Perez's pass goes off the stick of Shane Topf. This is going to be icing called against Macon. They're not going to be allowed to change. They have to keep the same five skaters out there. That icing call has been brought on by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Shaquille Marasti will secure Mike Davis's brain bucket and skate it back to the Birmingham bench. Uh-oh. He tried to flip it up in the air for the linesman. And he missed it. It landed pretty hard on the neutral zone ice. Those helmets are not cheap. Defensive zone face-off win by Macon's Josh Cousineau. He's been an ace on the dot tonight. Long blast from the left point, fought off by the shoulder of Entma. Collected by Fuller in the near corner. He's got Birmingham's most recent goal. It came on the power play early in period 2. Ben Campbell rattles it around the boards on the far half wall. It's played by Valamont, whose shot deflects out of play. Another huge hit thrown by Caesar. The Mayhem finishing every check they can tonight. That flying puck's been brought to you by Blues Painting and Home Repair. The Mayhem have struggled to get this puck out of their own zone for the last couple of minutes here. At least legally. They've iced it 1 or 2 times. They've had difficulty on the breakouts. Stephen Pirog and Josh Harris taking the draw. Puck is stolen at the blue line by Timofeyev. He's joined by Sumalides. Pass across to him was too hot to handle. Sumalides gets back on it. Stick handles away from a couple, but he eventually loses it. One-timed on goal from the circle by Pirog and stopped by Bray. Sumalides in the far corner lost it to Karel Jahorid, but Jahorid skated right into Stephen Pirog, who just hammered it on net. He's trying to get his first goal with the Mayhem this season any way he can. And that's got to be a tough save for Art Bray to make. His team has control, and all of a sudden, split second later, a howitzer from Stephen Pirog is flung on net. The first save he's had to make in several minutes, which is always a tough one on its own. Clean face-off win by Pirog. Jarrett Cupp skates wide, left circle, puts it on goal. Stopped by Art Bray. There was no daylight whatsoever to shoot at for Jarrett Cupp. Pirog steals the puck in front of the Birmingham bench, coughs it up. He was surrounded. Harris drops it off and goes to the front of the net. In the meantime, Barber's shot is swallowed up by Entma. And some pushes and shoves transpire after the Entma save. 3-2 to go in the third period. Macon has not been able to tie this game back up since period 1. Have to go to another defensive zone draw. It's going to be in that same circle, the far circle on the right side of Kevin Etma yet again. This time it'll be Cameron taking the draw against Cannon Piper. Cameron bested him. Zach Urban floats one ahead, whacked down out of midair by Shane Toff. No high stick. Urban's back on it. Over to Kalaman, who will advance it up the adjacent wall. Marcus Ortiz floats one wide of the net. And Cameron goes fighting for it in the far half wall. Taken away from him by Matt Fuller, who will begin to motor back out for Birmingham and just flop one into the right corner. Oleg Kalaman goes crashing into Shane Toff along the end wall and fights for it. Stepping in and centering one there was Karel Drahord, and Piper redirected it on goal, but it was stopped by Entma. Now here comes Soper the other way. Down his off wing, coughs it up. Lane Valamont drops it behind his own net. The Bulls playing safely here in the closing 10 minutes or so. They have just cleared the puck all the way down. Icing is called against Birmingham on that misconnected pass. That icing call has been brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. 10:52 to go in the third period. The Mayhem trailing by just a goal. They just need one to electrify this place. Back-to-back nights in which they've had to come from behind after falling behind in an early deficit in the first period. Yesterday they fell just a goal short. They're hoping the same will not be true tonight. Cousineau springs Caesar. He backhands it just wide of the goal. Art Bray touches it with his blocker and leaves it to his teammates to pick it up. Cole Golka fires it in from center ice. That was Shaquille Marasti. It was dealt with by Entma. Now Golka from the far circle. He tries a shot, gets blocked. Back to the line it goes. Johnson with a wrist shot, also blocked, and Larry Smith skates out with it. The breakout specialist feeds it up the right wing side for Danny Perez, who just backpedals into his own zone. Ryan Devine's got it. Devine from the red line. Here's it into the right corner, and Johnson will be first there. He turns to his left and begins up ice with it. Johnson slides it up the wing, and it's been dumped in below the Macon goal line. Picking it up there is Cole Golka. He spins with it, far corner. Gets some reinforcements from the Birmingham bench. Josh Harris centers it. Goes off the stick of Kalaman, and now it's scooped up by Ortiz. Rather, Timofeyev, he's held up, no penalty. Play resumes. Here's Pirog entering the zone. He fires. Blocker save made by Art Bray. Pirog from dead straightaway center, getting a hard wrist shot out from the high slot. Pirog pinned up to the boards now by Fuller. He escapes, but without the puck. Fuller will work it up the wall on the near side, and Cole Stallard advances it as far as the red line. Barber accelerates it further and then skates to the Birmingham bench. Devine twists it to Jarrett Cup. 9:12 to go here in the third period. Macon trailing by a goal. Cameron slips around a check. He's got it left circle. Lost the puck. Goes crashing into Art Bray. And we get a whistle stopping play. It was a nice move by Cameron. He slipped it through the defender's 5-hole essentially and just carried and passed it to himself through the opponent's skates and gained a step behind the defense. But as he was crashing to the front of the net, he had just so little room to work with that he just wiped out trying to corral the puck back and didn't end up picking it back up, just slid right into Art Bray and took out his legs. .9:05 to go in the third period. The Mayhem trailing the visiting Birmingham Bulls by a score of 3-2. Thanks so much for joining us tonight, folks, on the Mayhem Broadcast Network. We're so happy to have you with us, all of our loyal fans who have supported us all season. Despite the rough patch the team is on, the Mayhem hoping to snap this skid tonight and get back to their winning ways. They've got just over 9 minutes left. Some nervous optimism here at the Macon Centreplex. There's no doubt that this team never quits fighting. They proved that last night. They were down by 3 goals going into the second period, and they continued to chip away and claw themselves back into the game. By the time the game ended, Knoxville were the ones on their heels. Broken stick. Caleb Cameron skates to the Macon bench to get a new piece of lumber. Kalaman will fire it in from center. Would have sniped it inside the left post had it not been blocked away by Art Bray. Now it's been flung up the right side. Shane Toff gaining the red line is sandwiched into the sideboards by Jimmy Soper, who goes down. Loose puck skitters along for Zach Urban to make a play on it. He will backhand it up to Jimmy Soper. Soper slides it into the Kalaman vicinity. Oleg Kalaman to Zach Urban in his own zone. Urban's pass reaches Josh Cousineau. Cousineau tried to send it back to Larry Smith. It was picked off, cleared back into Macon territory. 8:22 to go. Kevin Etma will steer it to his left for Oleg Kalaman. Kalaman is surrounded. He's got a white sweater on either side of him. Cole Golka's got it now in the right corner. He will drop it into the right circle. The shot from Pietrowski skitters wide after it was blocked, and the puck's been cleared over the stick of Lane Valamont all the way down. No icing here. Play resumes. Valamont's got it. Near corner. Banks it off the boards on the near side. Golka down the right wing. He centers it. Pietrowski, bottom of the right circle. Twists it through the slot. Out to the far half wall. It's delivered back into the far corner by Shaquille Morasti. Josh Cousineau passed it over the stick of his fellow veteran, Danny Caesar. Puck's been floated into the right corner with 7:38 to go. 3-2 the score in favor of Birmingham. Ben Campbell's got it behind his own net. Stephen Pirog, his captain, directing traffic. He will scoop it up and leave it back to Campbell on the breakout. Campbell goes to his left for Larry Smith, who will bank one ahead, redirected into the Birmingham zone. Pirog left side. Dropped for Timofeyev, who spins it in front, goes off the pads of Art Bray and bounces back up the slot. Here come the Bulls in transition. Right wing, it's Cole Stallard shooting from a pretty tough angle. Entma made the save. The rebound jumped out into the slot, and he steered it aside with his blocker. Now here's Timofeyev, leaving it off for Stephen Pirog. Back to Timofeyev again, who is sized up, dispossessed of it, far corner by Artem Kurbatov. Now here comes Jacob Barber, rather Josh Harris down the right side. Harris, outer hash marks of the right circle, took a shot. Not much of an angle there. Kevin Entma making the glove snag. 6:40 to go in the third period. 3-2 Birmingham, your score. The Mayhem have had a lot of defensive zone faceoffs to deal with in this period. Not enough offensive zone time like they were able to muster up in periods 1 and 2, particularly the first. Even though Birmingham outscored Macon in the opening stanza, the Mayhem certainly had the edge in time on attack. Puck's been floated out by Jarrett Cupp. Played in the Birmingham zone by Matt Fuller. Dumped into the right corner now by Birmingham's Cannon Piper. Takes Jarrett Cupp into the boards with him. Ben Campbell, check that, Caleb Cameron. Here's Jarrett Cupp swiveling in across the blue line, leaving it Soper, put it on net. Big rebound, they score! Marcus Ortiz buried it past Art Bray. We're tied, it's 3-3. That's Marcus Ortiz's team-leading 6th goal on the season, and what a goal it was. It was an excellent decision by Jarrett Cupp. He received a pass from Caleb Cameron on the left wing. Sort of similar play to what we saw Knoxville do for their first goal yesterday. It was almost a pass off of the goaltender's pads. Art Bray made the initial save as he was intended to. Jarrett Cupp passed it off of his left pad, hoping for a fortuitous bounce, which he got. Finally, a little bit of puck luck for the Mayhem. The rebound bounced right out to Marcus Ortiz, who was in the right place at the right time and just smashed it past Art Bray, who could do nothing about it. 3-3 your score for the first time since the first period. We're tied up at 3 goals apiece. Alex Johnson pursuing it in his own zone is checked by Danny Caesar along the end wall. Smith will send one around the end boards, and Danny Perez is over there in the far corner, and will drop it down. Josh Cousineau fighting for it. Cousineau with some help. It's Danny Perez, pokes it free. He tried to work it back up the wall, but it was intercepted by Shaquille Morasti. Ben Campbell recovers, slides it to Larry Smith. Smith outlets it to Danny Perez. He's got a twist with it. Smith helps him out and gets it back over the Birmingham line. They're quickly out to center and beyond as Harris will flip it into the glove of Entma. He will just take a whistle and a defensive zone draw. 5:04 to play in the third. 3-3 your score 36-31 your shots on goal in favor of Birmingham, but the Mayhem have tied this game back up. 6 goals tonight, 3 from defensemen, 3 from forwards, 3 from Macon, 3 from Birmingham. All from a different player. Alex Johnson first, Jimmy Soper next, Mike Davis after that, Matt Fuller following, and then it was Cup, followed by Marcus Ortiz most recently to get us to where we are now. A 3-3 tie with 5:04 yet to play. There is, however, a penalty called against Larry Smith in the last 5 minutes. There's a slap shot by Fuller, bounces up in the air, it flutters wide of the net on the second shot. Smith is in the sin bin, we've yet to hear the reason why. But the Mayhem to the penalty kill for the 4th time tonight, but Sumilidis is found behind the defense. Tries to snipe one short side on Art Bray, who made the save. Harris will drop it back to Fuller behind his own goal line. Fuller commences the breakout, slides it up to Harris. Team leading scorer with 11 points, all of which are assists this season. Shoveled around the boards by Shaquille Marasti. Squeaks by Fuller. Harris secures possession, far point. Long shot stopped by Entma following the redirect, and now here's Campbell. He will just angle one off the glass back into the Birmingham zone. High sticking was the call against Larry Smith. The Mayhem 2 for 3 tonight on the PK. Here comes Birmingham into the attacking zone. A wrist shot by Toff breaks his stick, and he angrily throws that broken twig aside. There's another loose stick down there, it appears, near the far corner. In the meantime, it's played by Kurbitov, right point, given down the boards. Jacob Barber, right circle, shoots. Entma the save, it's loose behind him. He looks for it, they score. No whistle from the referee. He's pointing to the back of the net. That's a good goal. The Bulls have struck on the power play. It's Shaquille Marasti. Loose sticks galore all over the place, and this goal is going to stand. It sounded as though there might have been a whistle blown, but there was not. The referee emphatically pointing to the back of the net. Jason Lordy confident that's a good goal, and Birmingham is back in front. It's 4-3 Bulls. We've improved to 2 for 4 on the power play tonight. The Mayhem not happy that there wasn't a whistle blown earlier than that. The shot from Barber, he waited patiently in the right circle, delayed, and delayed. Saw the opening, took the shot. He tried to squeak it through the blocker and chest really, of Kevin Entma, almost sort of near the armpit, and just barely trickled it through. And the loose puck laid flat right behind him on the goal line. It was stuffed over it by Shaquille Marasti, his 3rd goal on the season. And the Bulls are right back in front just like that. 4-3 your score, 3:46 to go in this game. The Mayhem have really got to up the ante here in the closing minutes. Cole Golka floats one over the jumping hand of Zach Urban. Far corner. Urban is checked, loses the puck. J.M. Pietrowski killing as much time as he can along the far half wall. Puck squeaks free. Golka slides it to the line. A long point shot gets blocked. And Cousineau swipes at it. It's recovered by Birmingham and punched into the right corner now. Centering pass is intercepted by Cousineau. Fed up to Danny Caesar on the right side. Caesar circles back into his own zone with it. He accelerates out to center and floats one into the left corner. Jarrett Cup is after it. He passes it to himself skillfully. Cup will reverse it. Pirog's got it. He turns. Steven Pirog centers it. Goes all the way through. Back to the line. Slap shot from Devine. Didn't have much mustard on it. Steven Pirog spinning. Attempts a stuff attempt. And the save is made by Bray. The rebound pops all the way out to the far corner. Sumilidis slides it to the blue line. Cup with a long shot through a screen, but Art Bray made the stop. 2:39 yet to go in the 3rd period. 4-3 Birmingham. The Mayhem running out of time. They've fallen behind virtually every time they've tied the game. They've fallen behind fairly quickly, almost immediately thereafter. And they're going to have to come from behind yet again. 4-3 the score in favor of Birmingham. That last goal coming off the stick of Shaquille Marasti, a power play strike. And he is just an assist away from the Gordie Howe hat trick. For those of you who are not familiar with what that is, it's a goal, an assist, and a fight all in the same game. Very uncommon. If I'm not mistaken, it's more uncommon than a regular hat trick, though I'd have to check the literature on that. The regular hat trick happens about 1 in every 18 games. Last time the Mayhem scored a hat trick was by Alexander Tallien back on January 19th of 2019. It's only happened 6 times in franchise history. The puck flutters up in the air and it's gloved down, whacked into the far corner. The Bulls fail to clear it. Good keep by Devine. A soccer play there. And another soccer play. That time it was by Harris, who didn't have his stick. Puck is slid to Jarrett Cupp on the left side of the ice. He dances around a couple, then fires. And a shoulder save, but there's a big rebound in the crease. Caleb Cameron was the wrong-handedness for that, and Jimmy Soper gets into it in the crease right now. Lots of scrapping going on in the blue paint. Jarrett Cupp has really displayed excellent confidence in this game. He's generated a lot of scoring opportunities. He's passed to himself on several occasions and driven play down the left wing. Scored one of Macon's goals, assisted on another. I don't think I heard his name read off, so I don't think he was credited for it, but we'll make sure to get that fixed. Caleb Cameron will take a critical draw to the left of Art Bray. Birmingham wins the faceoff. It's played to Alex Johnson. Whacked up to top, huge hit delivered in the corner on the near side. Cup driving play again behind the goal line. Ortiz scrapping for it. It's been cleared over Devine right into the Macon bench. That one nearly hit Coach Thomas. It actually might have. Sure, the Mayhem head coach has endured his fair share of pucks to the head during his playing days. Mayhem will be able to keep this face-off in the offensive zone. Cameron to take the draw, just over 2 minutes remaining in the third period here. 2:01 to go, 4-3 Bulls. False start on the puck drop again. Pietrowski and Cameron squaring off. The puck drops. Ortiz, far corner. Marcus Ortiz twists it down below the goal line. Jimmy Soper trying to gain some separation from J.M. Pietrowski. He will then reverse it in behind the net lane. Valamont's got his stick on it, trying to work it up the boards to Shaquille Marasti, who is doing exactly what he did earlier, just trying to kill as much time off the clock as he can, and just suffocate the clock. And the Mayhem are able to pry it free pretty quickly. Marcus Ortiz with it on his stick on the near side, shovels it towards the net. It bounces around, and Soper returns it. Ortiz had it come his way too quickly, was unprepared for it, and the Bulls have just cleared it all the way down. Kevin Etma well out of his net, feeding it right back up to Jarrett Cupp. His pass is redirected into the Birmingham zone by Stathis Sumalitis. The Bulls have cleared it back out quickly. 1:12 to go. Kevin Etma has not gone to his bench yet. Now Jarrett Cupp receives the pass from Ryan Devine. The Mayhem running out of time. 60 seconds. Kevin Etma charges to the Macon bench. They get a 6th attacker on the ice in the form, it looks like, of Ben Campbell, who receives it from Stefan Timofeyev. And now it's Stephen Pirog who coughs it up at the blue line. Harris shovels it all the way down the ice and into the goal from short of the red line. And that is how Josh Harris has scored his first goal of the season. A 100-foot strike from the neutral zone near the Mayhem logo at center ice. Just shoveled it all the way down at the empty net. Just hit the bullseye. And the folks here at the Macon Centreplex begin making their way towards the exits. Barring a miracle at this point, it's going to be a 6th consecutive regulation loss. The Mayhem already on a career-long 5-game regulation losing streak. Frustrations just continue to build here in Macon. Tonight will hurt in particular for several reasons, the puck luck being one of them. The dominance in the offensive zone, especially in the first period, being another. The Mayhem certainly the better team, at least for the first few shifts of this game. Again, just sort of similar to last Saturday, didn't get rewarded for it. Puck was played with a high stick. If Harris was wise there, he wouldn't have touched it. Instead, play is allowed to continue, but the point is moot. 10 seconds remain, not enough time to muster a comeback, and the Mayhem will drop to 2-6-2. That's done it. Another comeback attempt falls just short. Though this time there was an empty net tacked on, otherwise it would have been an identical score to last night. Josh Harris putting the icing on the cake and putting a damper on Macon's comeback attempts. They're going to salute the crowd who have stuck with them all weekend despite the two disappointing defeats. First at the hands of the Knoxville Ice Bears last night, and then again tonight at the hands of the Birmingham Bulls. A difficult situation facing the Mayhem at the moment. They've had to deal with already some pretty major roster overhauls, losing Rennie Hunter and losing Nick Minerva to the ECHL. Kevin Entma during a 4-game stretch against the top-seeded team in the SPHL. And even with Entma being back, the team was not able to secure a point from this 2-game homestand. The Mayhem will be back in town next weekend. They will host the Evansville Thunderbolts for the first time this season. Former Mayhem sniper Derek Sutliff is now on board with the Thunderbolts. And Jeff Bess, a very well-renowned, well-respected coach. He was able to knock off the Rivermen last night in a shootout and finally end their undefeated season. But make no mistake, that will not stop the Mayhem from welcoming him into the Macon Centreplex for a hostile couple of games next weekend. Again, Camo Night on Friday, and I beg your pardon, Country Night on Friday, and Mossy Oak Camo Night on Saturday. We hope to have you folks out here as the Mayhem host the Evansville Thunderbolts for the first time this season. One last look around the SPHL, and we'll let you folks get going. It's a busy night here tonight. Every team in action this evening around the SPHL. Fayetteville defeated the Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs earlier this evening, a 4-3 victory up at Crown Coliseum, so they have continued their dominance this season, improving to 8-0-1, jumping to first place for the time being. Peoria can tie them if they hold their lead. They're currently up 3-1 over Evansville in Southern Indiana. Pensacola tied 1-1 the score at the hands of the Quad City Storm, visiting down in Pensacola. Long trip for the boys from eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois, the border there. So that game tied at a goal apiece with 6:51 left to be played in the second period. And finally, Knoxville leads 2-0 over the Huntsville Havoc up in northern Alabama tonight. So that wraps up your final out-of-town scoreboard update brought to you by Hampton Inn & Suites. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast this weekend, folks, in spite of the outcomes. One more time, the Mayhem falling by a final of 5-3 tonight. A very strong start to the game, but they could not finish. They trailed several times, tied the game back up several times, but every time they did so, it seemed as though Birmingham had a near immediate response. So they fell. It was 4-3 until the empty net strike by Josh Harris in the final few seconds. A neutral zone backhand shot that found its way all the way down, bullseye, into the empty net to seal the Mayhem's comeback attempts. 5-3 the final here in Macon. Again, next weekend, the Mayhem will be back on home ice hosting the Evansville Thunderbolts. Country Night on Friday, Camo Night on Saturday. We hope to see you out here. For tickets, visit the Mayhem website, maconmayhem.com, or just swing by the box office right here at 200 Coliseum Drive. Till then, so long, everyone. Alex Von Coydel signing off. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.